Welcome into Stony Brook Field in Brewster, Massachusetts, where the Hyannis Harbor Hawks travel out east to take on an interdivision opponent in the Brewster Whitecaps for the fourth and final time in the regular season. Brewster, the 2017 Cape Cod League champion, sneaking into the playoffs at the end of last season and then going on a run to beat the Bourne Braves, have a little bit of a different story here in 2018. Whitecaps sit in last place, not just in the Eastern Division, but in the entire Cape League. But for the East, 25 points for the Whitecaps. They're trailing the Orleans Firebirds by just 2 with a week to go in the season. As for the Harbor Hawks, their magic number remains at 2. A Hyannis win and a Bourne loss tonight would secure the Harbor Hawks a spot in the 2018 playoffs, representing the Western Division. Harbor Hawks currently sitting at 21-14-2 on the season, but road games have been a little bit of a struggle for them, to say the least. 8-9-2 away from McKeon Park compared to their 13-5 record at home. But for the Brewster Whitecaps, these Harbor Hawks have taken down the last place team in the Eastern Division 3 times in 3 attempts this season. And that's been a little bit of a trend for the Harbor Hawks this season as well, especially with Eastern Division opponents. They've swept the Harwich Mariners in their regular season series, 3 out of 3 so far against the Whitecaps, 4-1 against the Bourne Braves. Of course, they're a Western Division team, but a lot of their wins come in bunches against certain teams. But then you look at some teams like the Katuitt Kettleers and the Falmouth Commodores. Harbor Hawks have just 2 wins against both those teams. However, Brewster's a club that has not thrived particularly well through the first over 3/4 of the regular season, but they are fighting for that last playoff spot with just less than a week to go in the regular season. Harbor Hawks sending Nick McDonald out to the mound tonight, the right-hander out of Florida International University, set to make his last start of the summer and the first away from McKeon Park. Every start for the FIU right-hander have come at home this season, and Nick McDonald's been one of the centerpieces of the Harbor Hawks starting pitching. After struggling in the early part of the year, he's really turned his summer around nicely. The 6-foot right-hander doesn't have overpowering stuff, but a fastball that sits in the mid to high 80s, as well as some sweeping breaking stuff. And we've talked about it time after time after time, but a quick and wicked pickoff move. McDonald's numbers in total this summer: 27 2/3 innings pitched, 4.55 ERA. This will be his 8th appearance and 7th start. In his time here with the Harbor Hawks, he's walked 13 and struck out 30. Opposing him tonight will be Zach Ligenfelter, the Tennessee starting pitcher, making his way out to the mound for the Brewster Whitecaps tonight. So far, Ligenfelter having a decent summer, to say the least. And he's going up against the Harbor Hawks order that didn't do too well in their previous game against the Bourne Braves. Just 1 run plated in that ball game, coming in the 3rd. Hyannis from time to time this summer has struggled to score early, and that's where you'll see him struggle the most. Playing from behind has been their Achilles heel. For the pitcher in Ligenfelter, 24 2/3 innings pitched, a 5.10 ERA. He's set to make his 7th start of the summer as well. He's walked 17 and struck out 27, so often his control can be a little bit up and down. But for Ligenfelter, looking to turn that around today against this Harbor Hawks team. Once again, magic number sits at 2. A win for them and a Bourne Braves loss secures them a spot in the Western Division. Quickly to take you through the division standings as we speak. In the East, Whitey's up with 50 points in first place, trailing them by 10. The Chatham A's in second, followed by the Harwich Mariners in third, Firebirds in fourth with 27 points, and once again, the Brewster Whitecaps sitting in fifth and trailing them by 2. Western Division up for grabs with less than a week to go as well. Harbor Hawks have a mere 1-point lead up at the top of the Western Conference, followed by the Wareham Gatemen at 43 points, Falmouth with 41 in third, Katuitt holding the last playoff spot as we speak with 39 points, and the Bourne Braves with 35, looking to sneak their way into the playoffs. The last place Whitecaps going up against the first place Harbor Hawks, McDonald versus Ligenfelter. Quickly for Ligenfelter, the right-hander out of Tennessee. He's really been on as of late. In the last 10 innings pitched, he's given up just 1 earned run, won the last 2 games he's appeared in. and just 3 earned runs over his last 14 and a third innings. The Lingenfelter has really turned his summer around. The 6'5", 220-pound right-hander out of the University of Tennessee, looking to down the Harbor Hawks and get one win to their name against this Hyannis ball club in their 4th try. This will be the 4th and final time these two teams square up this summer. We'll have a little bit more for you here on the post-game show. We'll go through the lineups and take you around the rest of the league. First pitch under 20 minutes away here at Stony Brook Field. Whitecaps and Harbor Hawks set to go here at 5 o'clock. We'll take you back to the rest of the pregame show in just a couple of minutes here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Welcome back into the pregame show here at Stony Brook Field in Brewster, Massachusetts. I'm your host, Lyle Goldstein. First pitch just under 15 minutes from getting underway between the Harbor Hawks and the Whitecaps. Both teams set for game, or Hyannis, we should say, set for game 38 of their summer, sitting with a record of 21, 14, and 2. Meanwhile, Brewster set for game 39, sporting an 11, 24, and 3 record. Once again, last place in the Eastern Division. To quickly recap you from 2 nights ago between the Harbor Hawks and the Braves, that game ended by a final score of 2-1 in extra innings as the Harbor Hawks fell to 8-3 in 1-run games and lost their first extra inning contest of the season. Hyannis scored first with an RBI from Matthew Barefoot back in the 3rd inning to put Hyannis on top 1-0. Then in the 7th, Jake Gorella, the St. Louis right fielder, came through with an RBI triple, and then the same guy, Gorella, the right fielder from St. Louis, Jake Gorella, the hero, just 5 days into his summer with the Bourne Braves, he came through with the RBI single, roped it out to right center field to walk things off out at Doran Park against the Harbor Hawks, that coming in the bottom of the 11th inning. Game almost ended in the 9th inning, but Tommy Jew made a sensational catch out at Doran Park, the second one he's made in Bourne this summer. But this one for a game-saving moment, diving flat out on his stomach, charging in, and taking a hit away in the bottom of the 9th against Tyler Shedler McAvoy, who had just gotten his first at-bat, the Seton Hall pinch hitter coming in. That sent the game to extras, but then Gorella with the RBI single to give Bourne the win out at Doran Park and keep their playoff hopes alive. One more time, Bourne sits with 35 points on the summer, 4 back of the Cotuit Kettleers. Meanwhile, these Harbor Hawks and Whitecaps set to square off for the 4th and final time this summer. To recap you from the last time these two teams played, Hyannis won 6-5 here at Stony Brook Field. That was all the way back in game number 15 of the season, back in late June, and we'll take you back and relive that right here.
Gets the sign from Wilkie.
Welcome here in Brewster this evening, a 5 o'clock start. I'm Marcello. I'm here with Chris Lucey. So we have today the Hyannis Harborhawks taking on the Brewster Whitecaps. 1-2 pitch. That is a laser out to right field. And that will get down. And that is gone. Home run. It is now 3-0 Brewster. And Canzone puts a laser out to right field. Just fair. Down the line. 3-2 pitch. That is a ground ball that will get through the middle. 1 run scores. Another one right behind him. And the Harborhawks cut this lead now. Well, this deficit now to 1, as it is now 3-2. 2-2 pitch. That hits out in the gap. And that will get down. This game is tied at 3-3. Another run might be coming home. The Harborhawks, for the first time today, are in the lead. It is now 4-3 in a great big inning here in the top of the 5th.
And what a piece from Pedro Pages. A 2-out double. The 0-2 is cut on and crushed out to left field. This tracks Wolf back to the wall, and it gets off the wall and is a base hit. Braden Como comes around third to score. Cruising into second base is Barefoot with his second hit of the day, and that stakes the Harborhawks out to a 5-3 lead over the Whitecaps with 2 down in the top of the 7th inning. And the pitch cut on and hacked the other way down the right field line. That dinks in front of Canzone for a base hit. Relay throw comes in, but Barefoot will score easily, and that's an RBI single for Pedro Pages, who stops up at first. And the Hawks lead 6-3 on a little 2-out rally here in the top of the 7th inning. The 2-1 is cut on and grounded over to the second baseman, Como. A run comes in to score, but Como goes over to second to get the easy one. And the Whitecaps are within a run. It's 6-5 here in the bottom of the 8th inning with 2 down, and Chris Wright coming to the plate. The 1-2 pitch. Cut on and sent high in the air to the left side of the infield. Seth Gray making the call, but called off by Davis Wenzel, who closes his glove on the final out of the Harborhawks' 6th straight win here in Brewster, Massachusetts. Gets the sign from Wilkie. The 1-2 pitch. Cut on and sent high in the air to the left.
And welcome back into the pregame show. I'm your host here, Lyle Goldstein. National anthem just concluding here at Stony Brook Field. Harborhawks and Whitecaps set to get underway in just under 10 minutes. To quickly take you through the lineups for each team, first for your Hyannis Harborhawks, Davis Wenzel leading off, playing short. Braden Como, the right second baseman, hitting second, followed by Matthew Barefoot, the Campbell left fielder. In the cleanup spot, Seth Gray, the right state third baseman. Pedro Pages hitting fifth, the catcher out of Florida Atlantic. In the sixth spot, Todd Lott, the Louisiana Lafayette designated hitter. Tommy Jew hitting seventh and playing center field. Trevor Hopper in the eighth spot playing right. And rounding out the nine, Brady Lindsley, the Oklahoma catcher. Now for the visiting side and the Brewster Whitecaps. We'll bring you back to that in just a second here on the Hyannis Harborhawks Digital Network. And we're back here to bring you the Brewster Whitecaps lineup. Ray Alejo leading off. the Central Florida right fielder wearing number 22 for the Whitecaps, followed by Dominic Canzone, Ohio State left fielder. Hunter Bishop in the number 3 spot. He's been hot as of late, especially in his last 10 games. Arizona State and second-year Whitecap playing center field today. Brandon Martirano out of the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill in the cleanup spot doing the catching. Jesse Franklin hitting 5th and playing first base. Gage Workman hitting 6th, the other Sun Devil in the lineup for the Whitecaps today. He's over at third base. Darren Baker, son of Dusty Baker, longtime Giants and Reds manager, in the 7th spot and playing second base. Out of Cal Berkeley, Brandon Wolf hitting 8th out of Stanford, doing the designated hitting. And rounding out the 9, Ike Freeman, the UNC shortstop. And once again, your pitching matchup today, Nick McDonald for the Harbor Hawks, right-hander out of FIU, and Zach Ligenfelter, right-hander out of Tennessee for the Whitecaps. That'll just about do it here on the pregame show, but to quickly take you around the rest of the league, Chatham out at Red Wilson Field taking on the Whitey Red Sox, a first and second place matchup in the Eastern Division. Over at Doran Park in Bourne, the Bourne Braves looking to hold on to their playoff chances as they bring in Eastern Division rival in the Harwich Mariners. It'll be Ricky DeVito and Brian Hoeing squaring up in that matchup. Over at Spillane Field, Matt Canarino, the right-hander for the Commodores, who's been flat-out dominant in his short time on the Cape this summer, taking on the Wareham Gatemen out at Spillane Field just off the Cape. Wareham looking to pick up a win tonight and hopefully take over first place if you're a Gateman fan. Over these Harbor Hawks, so Wareham Gateman fans will be keeping their eye on this game, doing some scoreboard watching, as Wareham once again just 1 point behind the Harbor Hawks. And finally, at Eldridge Park, Katuitt and Orleans squaring off. Kenyon Yovan, the Oregon right-hander, getting the start for the Orleans Firebirds, who sits with a record of 1-2 on the year. That'll just about do it here on the pregame show. I'm Lyle Goldstein. You can catch me on the 4th inning around the league update, as well as our postgame show and Hawk Talk, our video wrap-up, which you can catch on YouTube. Just under 10 minutes from getting underway, Hyannis and Brewster here at Stony Brook Field. Chris Lucey and Robert Marcello will have the call for you when we return just shortly on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright. Time for lineups and first pitch on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Welcome everyone to Brewster, Massachusetts, as we have here this early evening a matchup that has playoff implications. The Brewster Whitecaps trying to get back in the playoff race. They're only 2 points down in 4th place, but the Hyannis Harbor Hawks are in 1st place in the Western Division. I'm Robert Marcello along with Chris Lucey. Chris, how are you today?
Rob, I'm doing well, and you're right. Playoff implications galore here as Brewster's just trying to stay in the Eastern Division playoff picture, and Hyannis is just trying to get themselves one game closer to clinching.
Well, Zach Lagenfelter on the mound today for the Whitecaps, trying to do just that, as he's had a very good year so far. Now going to go through the Hyannis Harbor Hawks lineup this evening. To lead things off is Davis Wenzel, playing shortstop today. In the 2nd spot is Braden Como, playing second base. In the 3rd spot is Matthew Barefoot out in left field. In the 4th spot, batting cleanup, is Seth Gray, playing 3rd. Pedro Page is in the 5th spot. In the 6th spot is Todd Lott playing DH. Tommy Jew's out in center field. Trevor Harbor's out in right. And Brady Lindsley is out at first base.
Absolutely, and they'll be trying to get their hits off of Lingenfelter, who is a big-time draft prospect out of the SEC. He was taken by the Yankees out of high school, elected to go to Tennessee, and he's out in his 2nd season on the Cape right now with a 1-1 record in 6 games started, a 5.10 ERA in 24 2/3 innings pitched, 27 strikeouts to 17 walks and 17 hits in that time. So he has great stuff, as evidenced by the strikeout total there, but if you don't spot up, that's what happens. You give up a lot of hits and a lot of walks, and it inflates your ERA and really just doesn't reflect well on you as a pitcher.
To get things started is Davis Wenzel to lead things off here in Brewster. And the first pitch. That is high inside. Davis Wenzel batting the first man up today, shortstop today. And the 1-0 pitch. That is sent foul down the left field line. Right into the batting practice turtle. Beyond left field. Out in left field is Dominic Canzone. Out in center field is Bishop. Out in right field is Ajejo. At third base is Workman. At shortstop is Freeman. At second is Baker. And Franklin's over at first. And Monorano is the catcher. The 1-1 pitch is high for a ball. Count now at 2-1.
Davis has been a solid presence for the Harbor Hawks this year, batting .267 in 34 games. Leads the team with 135 at-bats, too.
And the 2-1 pitch. That is high outside for a ball. Count at 3-1. A hitter's count for Davis Wenzel to lead things off this game. Booster today in their Friday night red jerseys are the Harbor Hawks in their road blues. And the 3-1 pitch. That is called a strike. Just catches the edge of the zone. Counted full 3-2 here in this early evening matchup. Brewster does not have lights. And the 3-2 pitch. Send right to the third baseman. And it will be caught for the first out as he had to fight off the sun. That's caught by Gage Workman.
Nice play by the man at the hot corner there. It's a pretty sunny day, and there's a good amount of wind as well. Most of it kind of blowing from right to left, as you can see the big flag out in right center field, getting a good stiff breeze toward the left field foul pole. So Workman had his work cut out for him there, and he was still able to make the grab.
Braden Como now up. 1 man out in the top of the first inning. And the first pitch into Como. That is called high for a ball. And the 1-0 pitch into Como. That is called a strike, catches the outer part of the plate. Count even at 1-1. Como just looks back at the umpire there just to make sure. Counts even at 1-1. And the 1-1 pitch. That is grounded out to the shortstop. He has it. He'll throw it on to first for the second out. Freeman on that play.
Now coming to the plate for Hyannis.
For the second out, now Matthew Barefoot will be up with 2 gone quickly in the top of the first.
And Matthew Barefoot's the guy you want up there. If you want to get something moving, he is the hottest hitter on Cape Cod to this day, swinging a torrid .392 average coming into today.
Matthew Barefoot now up. 2 outs in the top of the first. In the first pitch. That's a ball in the dirt. Count quickly in Matthew Barefoot's favor at 1-0. And the 0-1 pitch. That's another ball high. Count it 2-0. To the third man in the order for the Hyannis Harbor Hawks.
He leads Hyannis in pretty much every important statistical category: on base percentage, slugging, OPS. He laps everybody.
And the 2-0 pitch. That's called a strike on the outer edge of the plate. Count it 2-1. 2 outs in the top of the first, 0-0. And the 2-1 pitch. That's a ball in the dirt outside.
Stopped by Monaranto. Counts at 3-1. Hitters count for Matthew Barefoot, trying to get on for the first time today for the Hyannis Harbor Hawks. And the 3-1 pitch. That is called inside. That will be a strike count, full at 3-2.
Little shrug right there from Barefoot. He's only struck out 20 times this season. And 120 at-bats, that is an excellent percentage.
And the 3-2 pitch. Sends it right out to the shortstop, and that will get down. That is a 2-out base hit for Matthew Barefoot. First time today the Harbor Hawks get on.
And it's like clockwork for him. Every time he gets up to the plate, he'll work a count. And if you miss even an inch away from your target, Matt makes you pay every single time. And case in point right there, finds a little something he likes, gets just enough wood on it to send it past the shortstop Freeman. And now he's on first. And Hyannis has a little something going with Seth Gray at the plate.
Seth Gray now up, the right state man today playing third base for the Harbor Hawks. And the first pitch of the at-bat is sent out to center field. But under it will catch it is Bishop for the third out, the Harbor Hawks. They'll do get a man on base, but unable to do anything with it. The Brewster Whitecaps will be up for the first time today. We will be right back here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright. You're listening to the Cape Cod Baseball League on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Let's get you back to the game.
Welcome back here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. I'm Robert Marcello. Now getting ready to start the bottom of the first inning. We're going to go around the infield for you for the Harbor Hawks. On the mound today for the Hyannis Harbor Hawks is Nick McDonald. Over at behind the plate is Pedro Pages. Over at first is Brady Lindsley. Over at second is Como. Over at shortstop is Wenzel. Over at third is Seth Gray. On left field is Matthew Barefoot. Out in center is Tommy Jr. Round up the 9. Trevor Harver is out in right field. Ray Alejo to lead things off. The bottom of the first. And that first pitch from Nick McDonald is outside for a ball.
Nick in the midst of a great season for Hyannis, a 2-1 record.
And the 1-0 pitch. That is a ground ball to Davis Wenzel. He has it. He'll throw it on to first over to Brady Lindsley for the first out. Nick McDonald, only 2 pitches in, already has 1 out.
Again, he's efficient. I mean, the 4.55 ERA is a bit of a misnomer on him because his first start, he opened the season for Hyannis, and it didn't go all that well for him. But since then, he's been able to rebound beautifully. 30 strikeouts in 27 and 2/3 innings pitched compared to only 13 walks. Commands the zone very, very well. Is able to pitch away and also pitch to contact, too.
Dominic Canzone. Now, the last time we were here in Brewster, he had a big 3-run solo shot. Put the Whitecaps up 3-0, but the Harbor Hawks coming back to win. That next off-speed pitch is called a strike count, even at 1-1.
Yeah, Hyannis is a game away from sweeping the season series tonight.
And the 1-1 pitch. That is sent out to left center field, but Tommy Jew's on to catch it for the second out. Fighting off the sun, and today it is not many clouds in the sky.
No, and still the wind, though, carrying that ball a country mile. Tommy Jew seemed to be waiting, camped underneath it forever because it was just such a high pop-up, and the wind just kept blowing it up and up.
Hunter Bishop now up the center field today for the Whitecaps. The third man in the order, 2 quick outs. Very similar to what happened with Lagenfelter in the first. First pitch from McDonald is a ground ball that will get past Braden Como in a 2-out hit, and very much the same as what happened in the top of the first inning. The Harbor Hawks quickly down 2 outs. And then Matthew Barefoot got a base hit, and Hunter Bishop, the third man in the order, also got a base hit.
Yeah, Matt, I mean, Brady was playing for the pull up there on the line, and the ball just was placed perfectly in the hole just outside the reach of Como, and Brady, a catcher by trade, isn't all that mobile, so it was tough for him to go over and make that play, especially on the backhand stab.
Brandon Monterano now up behind the plate today for the Brewster Whitecaps. And the pitch. That is a high strike. Just catches the top edge of the plate. Over at first is Bishop being covered by Brady Lindsley over at first, taking a small lead. And the 0-1 pitch from McDonald is an off-speed pitch that we call a ball. Counts even at 1-1. And the 1-1 pitch. That is a ball high. Count at 2-1. Still being covered over at first is Bishop, number 24, the center fielder today for the Whitecaps. After the man that's up at plate currently, Jesse Franklin will be up in the on-deck circle. Throws back first is McDonald, but not even a slide by Bishop as he's not taking that big of a lead, and Brady Lindsay doesn't even think about applying a tag.
Nope, and Monterano at the plate only batting .218, so you imagine he's going to go right after him is Swan, or not Swan, excuse me, man on the mound to McDonald.
Throws back to first. They'll be safe, though. Not even a slide. Taking a small lead over at first is Bishop, being covered by Brady Lindsley. And the 2-1 pitch. That is sent out to right center field. On to catch it is Tommy Jew, and he'll miss it, and that goes past the wall there, having to go back to third. Though is Bishop, and the Harbor Hawks catch a break.
Big time break right there for the Harbor Hawks in that Bishop was going to score easily, and Martirano easily could have legged that out for a triple. I mean, he was by second base by the time the ball dropped in. The catcher boasting some impressive speed for a backstop. Could have stretched that to 3 or maybe even gone home himself had it continued to bounce around out there.
Tommy Jew leaping out to try to catch that ball, but misses it, went off his glove, bounced to the ground, and hopped right over the wall out in right field. Jesse Franklin now up. First pitch right down the heart of the plate for a strike. See if the Harbor Hawks can get out of this, as they caught a break. The runner did not come home.
Franklin doesn't give them much of a break. He's batting .275, 22 hits on the season. I mean, you're caught between a rock and a hard place with this guy.
Runners at second and third. That off-speed pitch is called for a strike. Quickly down 0-2 in the count is Jesse Franklin. 2 outs in the bottom of the first. I think McDonald trying to get out of this one unscathed, trying to keep this at 0-0. And the 0-2 pitch. That's an off-speed pitch in the dirt, but bounces in the dirt. Stopped by Pedro Pages, though. Bishop didn't even think about coming home. Counts at 1-2. Man at second and third, 2 outs. 0-0 here in Brewster. And the 1-2 pitch. Just fouled off the edge of his bat, bounces to the backstop. Count still at 1-2.
Franklin's been good with runners in scoring position this season. He's batted in 13 runs. So again, Hyannis in a very, very delicate situation, and McDonald will have to capitalize on this 2-strike count.
Big spot here early in this game. The Brewster Whitecaps currently biting for a playoff spot in the Eastern Division. And the 1-2 pitch. That's a ground ball that will not get past Brady Lindsley. He's able to step on first. Nick McDonald being able to get out of the first. 2 runners did get on, though, and after 1, still 0-0 here from Brewster. The Harbor Hawks will be up, though, in the top of the second. We'll be right back here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright. In combination with the Hyannis Harbor Hawks and Ocean Street Studios comes a brand new show bringing you everything Harbor Hawk. This is Birds the Word, a comprehensive new way to engage with your favorite summer ball team. I'm your host, Harrison Myers, and every Thursday until the end of the 2018 Cape League season, we'll bring you everything Harbor Hawk. Interviews with players and coaches, behind-the-scenes tours, and stories you may not have heard about. Make sure you subscribe today so you don't miss any of the action.
To start things off in the top of the second inning, Pedro Pages. Now up today, the catcher for the Harbor Hawks. After him will be Todd Lott in the DH spot. Not currently in the on-deck circle. Lagenfelder still on the mound for the Whitecaps. Brewster has 2 hits to the Harbor Hawks, 1. And the first pitch to start the top of the second inning. That is in for a strike. Inside pitch. And the 0-1 pitch. That is a ball low, count even at 1-1.
Pedro in the midst of a solid season at the plate, 255 batting average and 106 at-bats. Knocked in 15 RBIs as well.
And the 1-1 pitch. Fouled off. Right to the left of us. Count at 1-2. Down as Pedro Pages.
Strikeout, something that's plagued him this year. You'll have to watch out.
And the 1-2 pitch. That's ball outside. Count even at 2-2. Nobody out in the top of the second inning. The 2-2 pitch into Pages. That is sent right to the first baseman in the air, and he's able to catch it for the first out of the top of the second.
Pedro just getting beat inside right there. You have to tip your cap to Lingenfelter for executing a nice pitch there. And the strikeout and getting behind in counts generally is something Pedro struggles with. 28 strikeouts on the season has him in 3rd place on the ball club.
Todd Lott now up, just adjusting his batting gloves. Home plate umpire giving him some time. And the play now begins again. First pitch into Lott. That is grounded out to the second baseman, and Baker, he has it. Throws it over to Franklin for the second out. in the top of the second inning. Tommy Jew now up the center fielder.
For the Hyannis Harbor Hawks, the center fielder from UCal Santa Barbara, one of the Gauchos, Tommy Jew.
2 quick outs to start the top of the second inning. Very much the same in the first inning, but Matthew Barefoot was able to get a 2-out base hit. Let's see if Tommy Jew can do the same. And the pitch. That is called a strike high. Quickly down 0-1 in the count is Tommy Jew.
He's batting .250 on the season, 23 games played, 72 at bats.
And the 0-1 pitch into Jew. That is a rope right up the middle, and just the same happened in the first, happens in the second. And all the hits today for either side have been with 2 outs.
The chess match, to say the least. I mean, you get 2 quick outs, and then now you really have to play your cards carefully. And I mean, neither team has really been able to scrape anything together with the man on base with 2 outs yet. So interesting to see who flinches first out here at Stony Brook Field.
Trevor Hoover now up, Arizona State band. Over to first is Tommy Jew, being covered by Jeff Franklin. Throws back to first. Tommy Jew slides, but no tag by Jesse Franklin. Tommy Jew taking a small lead off of first. And the first pitch of this at bat is called outside for a ball. Sun's starting to set here in Brewster, as this is an early evening matchup. But Brewster does not have any lights. So they have to play their games pretty quickly, have to play them pretty much under 3 hours or they just get called. The 1-0 pitch. Tommy Jew goes, throws down to second base, and he is safe. Just in time is Tommy Jew. Another stolen base.
Yeah, Martirano with a great throw down to second, almost getting Tommy Jew, but the tag just a smidge late as he slid in head first safely.
The count is currently even at 1-1 to Trevor Hoover. 2 outs, now a man in scoring position the first time today for the Harbor Hawks. The 1-1 pitch. That is fouled off just to the edge of the bat. Count at 1-2. 2 outs, man. That's second. 0-0 here in Brewster.
And Tommy Jew getting out there with his 7th steal of the season. That moves him into sole possession of second place behind only Eric Rivera.
Count at 1-2. Man at second base, 2 outs. Top of the second. Trevor Hoover in the batter's box, waving his bat. The 1-2 pitch. That is called a ball. Close call there. Trevor Hoover, though, able to lay off the ball. Count even at 2-2.
Play discipline, something he'll have to keep working on. 18 strikeouts to only 8 walks this season. And he needs to bear down here.
Lagenfelter in the set. 2-2 pitch. That is a ball high. Counts full at 3-2. Tommy Jew taking a small lead off of second base, but potentially could be going here, especially with his speed.
Anything that can get down in the outfield will easily score Jew, especially he's going on the 3-2 pitch. He has so much raw speed. It's really one of the biggest, most impressive tools about him.
Full count. 3-2 pitch. Sends it out to center field. That will get down, and a run will come home. And the Harbor Hawks are out to an early 1-0 lead here on the road.
Big hit right there for Trevor Hoover. And then, again, Tommy Jew with the speed. He got a jump right on the hit. And what would have been a single that could have maybe advanced a normal runner from second to third, it dinked right in front of, like, very shallow right center field. Tommy Jew, just with the jump and the speed he already has, was able to cruise into home plate. The ball getting cut off in the middle infield because everybody knows that Tommy Jew just would not have come even close to being tagged out.
Brady Lindsley now up, the Oklahoma Sooner. After him will be the top of the order with Davis Wenzel. And the pitch. That is inside for a ball. Quickly up 1-0 in the count is Brady Lindsley. Over at first is Trevor Harver taking a small lead. 1-0 Harbor Hawks. They have 3 hits. One-0 pitch. That is a rope that will get past the first and second baseman. And there will be 2 runners on with 2 outs. In the top of the second, 1-0 Harbor Hawks.
Just more 2-out hitting from both of these ball clubs. Interesting that the only runs that have been scored so far today have come with 2 outs, and the only hits that have come to the bases today have been with 2 outs. An interesting trend early on.
Davis Wenzel now up.
Here we go, folks. Top of the batting order, wearing number 8 out of Baylor University in Waco, Texas. Here's shortstop, Davis Wenzel.
Man over at second is Harver. Over at first is Brady Lindsley. Wenzel with a big opportunity here to widen their lead. Now 4 hits for the Harbor Hawks. First pitch into Wenzel. Next pitch is sent into low center field, and it will not get down, and a good catch. A sliding grab by Hunter Bishop in the Harbor Hawks. Though able to get a run, they're up 1-0. Brewster will be up in the bottom of the second. We will be right back here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright.
You're listening to the Hyannis Harbor Hawks on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Now back to today's voice of the Hawks, Rob Marcello.
Welcome back to things in Brewster. 1-0 Hyannis. Gage Workman now up, third baseman today. The Arizona State Sun Devil to try to get the Harbor Hawks and Brewster Whitecaps even at 1-1 if they can do so. And the first pitch of the bottom of the second inning is low for a ball. Just below Workman's knees. Call the ball. McDonald in the bottom of the first inning, given a break. The ground rule double happened. The off-speed pitch in for a strike. And was able to get out of it as a liner out to Brady Lindsley. Was caught as Jesse Franklin roped one down the line. 1-1 pitch. That is a ground ball to Braden Como. He'll throw it on to first for the first out of the bottom of the second inning.
Yeah, just a continuation of a tough season for Workman on that play there, batting only 154 in 33 games played for the Whitecaps. So he's played in just about as many games as anybody. Actually tied for the team lead. This is 34th game now alongside his fellow Sun Devil in Hunter Bishop.
Darren Baker now up. First pitch. That is a bunt to the pitcher. He'll throw it on to first, and he is out. A great throw by Nick McDonald. Had to throw across his body for the second out.
Getting it on the bare hand as well. Trying to teeter his way over the foul line, avoid stepping on it, I guess. Even superstition reigning in the middle of gameplay, too. And what a stretch from Brady Lindsley fighting the sun. A high throw. He's able to keep his toe on the bag. Just a nice play all around.
Brendan Wolf now up the DH today for the Whitecaps. First pitch, off-speed pitch, swing and miss by Wolf. After him will be Ike Freeman, the shortstop for the Whitecaps. 0-1 pitch. That is called a strike. Count even, or sorry, quickly down 0-2 in the count. Here's Wolf, he's the DH today. One of the power hitters for the Whitecaps, batting in the bottom of the order. 0-2 pitch. That is outside for a ball, count at 1-2.
Yeah, Wolf just struggling to get consistent hitting out of himself this season. A 190 batting average and 58 at-bats.
Not the everyday guy for the Whitecaps. 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike three. And Nick McDonald being able to get out of it in the second, still with a 1-0 lead. That's after 2 innings. The Harborhawks will be up to start things in the top of the third. We'll be right back here on the Hyannis Harborhawks Digital Network.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright.
You're listening to the Hyannis Harborhawks on the Hyannis Harborhawks Digital Network. Now back to today's voices of the Hawks, Rob Marcello and Chris Lucey.
Welcome back to things here on the Hyannis Harborhawks Digital Network. Braden Como to lead things off. Start the top of the third inning. He's 0 for 1 on the day, as he grounded out the first time he was up. And the first pitch to lead things off in the top of the third is in low for a ball. Como, the second baseman today for the Harborhawks. The 1-0 pitch. That is right down the heart of the plate for a strike. A little low, though. Count even at 1-1. Lagenfelter still on the mound for the Whitecaps. 1-0 Hyannis. They have 4 hits to the Whitecaps, 2. Lagenfelter just has to step off the mound quickly. Steps back on the mound. Count even at 1-1 to Como. The infield for the Whitecaps playing at regular depth. 1-1 pitch. That is a ground ball that will catch the end of his bat. Throws it on to first as the first baseman. And Franklin had to go on to get it for the first out in the top of the third.
Tough play for Lingenfelter to make right there, coming off of the mound. 6'5", 220 pounds. Not easy to move and keep your feet going in the right places when you're that big. And Lingenfelter not only getting over there quickly, but able just to stutter step, get his foot on the bag, and make the play. Very, very nicely done. Helping his own cause there.
Matthew Barefoot now up. And the pitch. He's 1 for 1 on the day. He got a base hit in the top of the first inning after 2 quick outs. That first pitch to him is high inside. Count at 1-0. 1-0 pitch. That's another high pitch right about the same spot. Count now at 2-0 and a hitter's count for Matthew Barefoot as he's 1 for 1 on the day.
Is where he's most dangerous, too.
The 2-0 pitch. That does not catch the bottom of the zone. Count at 3-0. Lagenfelder doesn't like that one. Has to quickly step off the mound to compose himself. 3-0 count. See if Matthew Barefoot tries to swing it here. If he sees a good pitch. And the 3-0 pitch. That is called for a strike high. Matthew Barefoot at first glance thought he could go down to first, but quickly goes back. Count at 3-1. Jack Gassman along the third base side. Pretty close to where the Brewster Whitecaps bench is. 3-1 pitch. That is sent foul. That'll land just to the building. To the right of us. Count full at 3-2 after being up 3-0 in the count is Matthew Barefoot.
Great at bat right here for Lingenfelter. I mean, you have the best hitter in the Cape at the plate, and you're able to battle back in a count like that. Very nicely done. You should have a high confidence level here.
Full count. 3-2 pitch. That is a strike 3 called. Got him looking. And that will be the first strikeout today for Lagenfelter. 2 gone in the top of the third.
That's one way to bounce back after giving up your only run, really, if you need a bounce back after only allowing a 1 spot in the second. I mean, your team's down, of course, but still 2 quick outs to start the top of the third. Definitely going a long way for Lingenfelter here.
Seth Gray now up 0 for 1 on the day. Last time he was up, he flew out to center field. That first pitch is fouled off by Seth Gray. Hits the the bottom of his bat, right where his hands are. A common theme we've seen a lot this year, this summer, Chris, in the Cape Cod Baseball League, where it looks like someone clearly got hit, and the umpire's like, no, it hit the bat.
All about the noise.
0-1 pitch. That is a ground ball to the first baseman in Franklin. He'll throw it on to first to Lagenfelter, and he'll be able to get out of it 1-2-3. The Brewster Whitecaps will be up in the bottom of the third. It is 1-0 Hyannis. We'll be right back here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright.
You're listening to the Hyannis Harbor Hawks on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Now back to today's voice of the Hawks, Rob Marcello.
To lead things off in the bottom of the third inning will be Ike Freeman, the shortstop today for the Whitecaps. Number 38 for Brewster.
From the University of North Carolina, shortstop Ike Freeman.
Nick McDonald still on the mound for the Harbor Hawks. This is my solo inning. First pitch swing and a miss by Freeman. Goes to University of North Carolina in the College World Baseball Series this year out of the ACC. And the 0-1 pitch, swing and a miss. That off-speed pitch, try to check swing, and Freeman unable to hold up, though. Got quickly down 0-2 for Freeman as McDonald trying to make it quick work. As this game's not even 45 minutes in, we're almost about to finish the third inning. That next pitch is outside for a ball, count at 1-2. Nobody out in the bottom of the third, 1-0 Harbor Hawks. 1-2 pitch. That is a ground ball that will be foul. Count at 1-2. Freeman trying to protect the 2-strike count. Nobody out, though, in the bottom of the third. And the 1-2 pitch from McDonald. That is sent out to left field where Matthew Barefoot will be able on to catch it, and he does. For the first out in the bottom of the third. The top of the order now will be up for the Brewster Whitecaps.
From the Knights of the University of Central Florida, right fielder Ray Alejo.
Ray Alejo now up the right fielder today for the Whitecaps. You can hear the PA announcer from Brewster. Pitch from McDonald is an off-speed pitch in for a strike. Count at 0-1. 1 out in the bottom of the third. 1-0 Harbor Hawks if you're just joining us here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. That pitch is fouled off right into Pedro Page's catcher's mask, but he quickly throws it back. He's all right. Quickly down the count, 0-2 is Alejo. Everyone for the Harbor Hawks defensively is playing at regular depth. 0-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. There, and that's a foul ball. Count is still 0-2 as the home plate umpire quickly just has a word for Chad Gassman. Donald's next pitch is 0-2. And that is strike 3. Got him looking for the second out. And Nick McDonald for the second time today has a strikeout. 2 gone in the bottom of the third.
He was number 14.
Dominic Canzone now up. As I mentioned the last time the Harbor Hawks were here, Dominic Canzone had a 3-run shot to get the Whitecaps up 3-0. The Harbor Hawks just starting to really just hit their stride, really, when they started playing these Whitecaps. They're coming in red hot. That first pitch is in for a ball, low inside. Time called. Two outs in the bottom of the third. The 1-0 pitch is called a strike count even at 1-1. One pitch. That is a ball high outside. Count at 2-1 to Dominic Canzone. Two-one pitch. That is in for a ball. Inside about middle in. Count at 3-1 to Dominic Canzone. Canzone goes to Ohio State. He is from Ohio. 3-1 pitches. Sent out to right field. And that will be foul. Counts full now at 3-2 to Dominic Canzone. Nick McDonald trying to finish up his third inning of work here today. It's more than likely last outing of the summer. He's coming towards his innings limit. Full count, 3-2. That will get down the left field line, and that will be fair. That will go right into the batting practice turtle, and that will be a double. But he'll have to go back to first.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, coming to the plate for your Whitecaps, He's one of our returning veterans.
But we'll go back to second, though. This has to hand over his gloves and protector for his elbow, and now he's at second base. Man at scoring position for the Whitecaps. Now up is Hunter Bishop. McDonald trying to get out of this one. Second time today he's been somewhat of a jam. And also the second time today the Whitecaps have had someone in scoring position. And the first pitch into Bishop. That is a ball high. Page is trying to bring it down, though, but the home plate umpire didn't think so. Wenzel, though, covering. Man over at second in can zone. Pretty speedy guy out in left field. Wenzel backs off, though. 1-0 off-speed pitch is called for a strike. Just a little lower than that first pitch was. Count even at 1-1. 2 outs in the bottom of the third inning. 1-0. Hyannis. Brewster trying to draw to try to tie this game or potentially take a lead if Bishop can get one out of here. The 1-1 pitch. That is in the dirt for a ball. Count at 2-1. Man still over at second. Wenzel covering him, though. Como playing at regular depth. Seth Gray playing at regular depth. And Brady Lindsley all playing at depth in the infield. The 2-1 pitch. That is called a ball. And Nick McDonald just bending his knees there. Didn't like that pitch. Count at 3-1. The 3-1 count. And the pitch. That will be ball 4. And 2 guys now on for the Whitecaps. That'll be the first walk of the day for Nick McDonald. McDonald now just quickly just stepping off the mound, trying to calm himself down here. The big third out trying to come here for the Harbor Hawks.
Will be the Whitecaps catcher wearing number 37 from the Tar Heels of North Carolina, Brendan Marcello.
Brendan Marcello, also from UNC Chapel Hill, the Tar Heel. Man at first and second, neither of them being covered, though. Bernie Como just back to his regular position. And that first pitch will be called a high strike there. Martirano there didn't like that one, shakes his head. Count quickly down. 0-1 to Brandon Martirano, the catcher today for the Whitecaps. Man over at first and second taking a small lead. Donald looks back over at second. That next pitch is in the dirt. Pedro Pages. Unfortunately allows the man over at second to advance to third. The man over at first did not advance to second. Runners at the corners with 2 outs. Over at first is Bishop. Over at third is Canzone. The Whitecaps trying to tie this game. I think McDonald's got to shut it down here. The third base umpire moving him just right behind the pitcher in McDonald. The 1-1 pitch. That isn't for a strike. Counts now at 1-2. 2 outs, runners at the corners. 1-0 Harbor Hawks. Good crowd here today in Brewster. They're buying for a playoff spot. Throws back first is McDonald. Not even a slide. Playing a double play depth is the infield for the Harbor Hawks. The 1-2 pitch. That is in the dirt, even at 2-2. Count even, runners at the corners. McDonald trying to get out of this jam, very similar to what he did in the first. Let's see if he can get out of this one, though. Even at 2-2, 2 outs. And the pitch. That is high, count full at 3-2. McDonald a little trouble here in the bottom of the third. Sun's starting to go down here in Brewster. No lights here, though, as they have to get this game in. 5:48 is the time. The 3-2 pitch. That is ball 4, and back-to-back walks. Now the bases are loaded. For Jesse Franklin, last time he was up, sent a roper right over to Jesse Franklin. Or Jesse Franklin sent a roper right over to Brady Lindsley.
He wears number 8 for your Brewster Whitecaps.
He's also a first baseman.
From the Wolverines of Michigan, Jesse Franklin.
After Franklin, if he chooses to get on, Gage Workman will be up. He's in the on-deck circle. Bases loaded, 2 out. First pitch of this at bat is an off-speed pitch. Call the strike inside. About the middle of the plate. 0-1 is the count to Jesse Franklin. 0-1 pitch. That is sent foul. Quickly down on the count is 0-2 is Franklin. Trying to get with a base hit, maybe not only 1, but 2 runs, trying to take the lead. The Whitecaps desperately need to win. Vying for a playoff spot late in the season. 5 or 6 games left for many of these clubs. 0-2 pitch. That is high for a ball count at 1-2. The Harborhawks, though, trying to clinch a playoff spot. Have to worry about the Wareham Gatemen as they are playing tonight. The 1-2 pitch from McDonald. That is sent right up the middle. 1 run scores. Another one behind them, in the Brewster Whitecaps for the first time today will be in the lead. A throw over at third just gets past Seth Gray, but he's able to get it. And Nick McDonald unable to get out of this jam. The Whitecaps are up now 2-1. Now up is Gage Workman.
Now stepping up to the plate, here's number 25 from Arizona State University, third baseman, Gage Workman.
He's the third man in the order. Last time he was up was in the bottom of the second. He grounded out to the second baseman. Runner still at the corners with 2 outs. Tries to put a bunt down, but that'll be ball. High, called. 4 hits for both sides, but the Whitecaps have the edges. 2 walks by McDonald. Proving costly. McDonald looking over at first. The 1-0 pitch. That is high for a ball count at 2-0. Workman is the 6th man in the order for the Whitecaps. After him will be Darren Baker. And then after him will be Brandon Wolf. And then the roundup to 9 is Ike Freeman. 2-0 pitch. That is a ball count now at 3-0. Home plate umpire calls time is now Pedro Pages and Nick McDonald are going to talk on the mound. Pages trying to calm McDonald down here. Pages goes back, though, to home plate, where the home plate umpire is dusting off home plate to make sure he can clearly see it. Counted 3-0 to Workman, and in danger of walking 3 guys in this inning. McDonald throwing a lot of pitches. 3-0 pitch. That is in for a strike. Definitely not a get-me-over fastball, but just the inside part of the zone. Runners at the corners, 2 outs, 2-1 Brewster. Throws back to first. He'll be safe, though. Man over at first and Franklin. Getting back to the bag late. Count still at 3-1. Runners at the corners. 3-1 pitch. That is sent out to the center fielder. But we'll just move right over to Matthew Barefoot. He's able on to catch it. But not until the Brewster Whitecaps find themselves in the lead for the first time today. It is 2-1. The Harbor Hawks will be up in the top of the fourth. We'll be right back here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright.
You're listening to the Hyannis Harbor Hawks on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Now back to today's voice of the Hawks, Rob Marcello.
Pedro Pages to lead things off in the top of the fourth inning. Trying to get the lead back for the Harbor Hawks as they're down 2-1. Lagenfelter still on the mound for the Whitecaps. No action in the bullpen, though. And the first pitch of the top of the fourth is call the ball just low in the strike zone. Tried to bring it up, though, as Monterano, but home plate umpire did not fall for it. A 1-0 pitch. Sent foul. Right behind us here in Brewster. Count even at 1-1 to Pedro Pages. The 1-1 pitch. That is called the ball. Count at 2-1. Pitch looked good by Langenfelter, but Pedro Pages did not offer at it. Good idea, though. So the count's now at 2-1. The 2-1 pitch is fouled off. Counts even at 2-2. Nobody out, though, in the top of the fourth. To Pedro Pages. And the 2-2 pitch. That is sent out to low center field, but on to catch it is Bishop for the first out in the top of the fourth.
And now stepping up to the plate for the Harbor Hawks will be their DH right number 29.
Todd Lott now up. He's 0 for 1 on the day. Grounded out the last time he was up the DH today for the Harbor Hawks. Participated in the home run derby contest. Also was a part of the All-Star game. And got a home run the other night on the home against the Bourne Braves. That first pitch is high for a ball. The 1-0 pitch. That is called high, count now at 2-0. 2-0 count to Todd Lott. And the pitch from Lagenfelter. That is called a strike. Todd Lott thought about that pitch. He's going to try to take it to opposite field, but decided not to swing it. It counts at 2-1. 2-1 pitch. Swing and a miss, that high fastball from Lagenfelter. Count even at 2-2. Now to Todd Lott. The shadows now starting to begin here at Brewster's Field as almost covered full home plate. The 2-2 pitch. That is in the dirt. That will get past the catcher in Monterano. That will bounce to the backstop. Count at full 3-2. And the next pitch is sent out to center field and will be caught by Bishop for the second out in the top of the fourth. Now up Tommy Jew. Last time he was up, he got a base hit in the top of the second inning. Same thing happened to Trevor Hauver. He's able to get the only RBI today for the Harbor Hawks. And the pitch. That is a check swing that he did not go. The 1-0 pitch. That is fouled off, right off of the end of the bat of Tommy Jew. Counts even at 2-2. 2 quick outs in the top of the fourth inning. It is now 6 o'clock here at Brewster. Game moving merrily along. Both teams have 4 hits, but Brewster has the edge of 2-1. Count even at 1-1 the pitch. That is called for a strike. Count at 1-2. Harbor Hawks trying to get a guy on here. Trevor Hauver up. The only RBI on the day for the Harbor Hawks. The 1-2 pitch. That is a ball just outside. Lagenfelter thought he had strike 3. Big smile on his face. Count is even at 2-2. Many of the infielders thought about just going back to the dugout. They thought the inning was over. 2-2 pitch. That is in the dirt. Counts full at 3-2. Tommy Chu trying to get on for the second time today. Last time he was up, he got a base hit. Tommy Chu, a added addition for the Harbor Hawks in the middle of, the early part of July. 3-2 pitch. That hits Tommy Jew right in the shoulder, and he'll run down the first base. He's all right. Now up is Trevor Hauver, as I said. Got a base hit. The only RBI for today. Tommy Jew still 1 for 1 on the day, though. Won't hurt his batting average that he got hit by a ball. After him will be Brady Lindsley. He's also 1 for 1 on the day. There was 3 straight base hits allowed by the Whitecaps. Lagenfelter out of the set. Jew over at the first. Last time he was on base, he was able to steal a bag. Helped to be able to score the run. Jew goes. That is a ground ball that will go to the pitcher. He has it. He'll throw it on to first, and he'll be able to get out of it. A hit-and-run situation. Does not work out for the Harbor Hawks. It is still 2-1. Brewster will be up in the bottom of the fourth. We will be right back here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Magic.
Welcome into the Around the League update here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. I'm Lyle Goldstein. A 2-1 score here at Stony Brook Field. Brewster out on top 2-1. And not much going on around the rest of the league. One game currently in place elsewhere out at Red Wilson Field in Yarmouth Dennis. Whitey Red Sox and Chatham A's knotted up at 0-0. Two top teams in the Eastern Division going at it tonight. Aside from that, Harwich Mariners and Bourne Braves just about set to get underway at Doran Park. Meanwhile, the Kettleers and Firebirds set to go at Eldridge Park at 7 p.m. And the Commodores and Gatemen set to go at 6:30 p.m. out at Spillane Field just off the Cape. That'll do it for this Around the League update. We'll take you to a quick break and then bring you back with Robert Marcello and Chris Lucey for the call.
Now to lead things off in the bottom of the fourth inning will be number 4, Darren Baker.
Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. He was number
Baker, the
4
last time he was up, he grounded out
from the Golden Bears of
to the
California,
pitcher.
Darren Baker.
After him will be Braden Wolf, responsible for one of the 2 strikeouts for Nick McDonald. And the pitch. That is called a strike inside part of the plate. 2-1 Brewster, if you're just joining us. 0-1 pitch. That's a ball in the dirt. Count even at 1-1. Chris Lucey joins me back in the booth here.
Howdy, Rob. How you doing?
Good. How are you, Chris?
Doing well, thanks. The great thing about McDonald is the second time through the order, he doesn't really waver all that much.
1-1 pitch. That is called a strike. Count at 1-2.
His approach is very consistent throughout games. He really just tries to pound the strike zone and get guys to hit the ball to the guys playing behind him.
Count at 1-2. That next pitch is fouled off. That's poor Brady Lindsley over at first base coach for the Whitecaps, just throws it into the Harbor Hawks dugout. Count still at 1-2. Nobody out in the bottom of the fourth. 2-1 Brewster. And the 1-2 pitch. That off-speed pitch is not called a strike there. Close call even at 2-2.
Best you can do sometimes, just put it right over the black.
2-2 pitch. That is a pitch way inside, almost hits Baker. Count it full 3-2. Nick McDonald trying to get up the first out here at a rough inning in the third, letting up 2 runs. The 3-2 pitch. That is sent down the left field line, and that will get fouled. The shade now completely covering home plate and some of the pitcher's mound. And a lot of third bases, Seth Gray's completing shade, but everybody else in the bright sun.
You talk about the first out. McDonald's been able to get the first out in each of the previous 3 frames he's been in, but hasn't helped his pitch count all that much still.
The 3-2 pitch. That is a ground ball to the second baseman. Como has to wait for it on a chop, and he'll be out for the first out of the bottom of the fourth inning.
Good speed showcase right there by Darren Baker, getting up the line in a hurry. Made it a 50-50 call, but Jeff Marcello punching him out down that first base line off a nice little play right there.
Brendan Wolf now up. The DH today for the Whitecaps. Last time he was up, he struck out, responsible for one of the 2 strikeouts on the day for McDonald. That next pitch is sent out to deep center field, and on to catch it is Tommy Jew for the second out in the bottom of the fourth.
And I mentioned earlier, just as I have to bite my tongue now, McDonald's pitch count had been getting a bit up coming into that inning, around 62. But now, 2 pitches, 2 outs, he's at 64. And you can see him maybe going another inning in this game.
He sure could. Now, Mike Freeman now up. Last time he was up, he flew out to left field. 2 quick outs in the bottom of the fourth. And the pitch. That is outside for a ball, 1-0 count. Everyone in the infield for the Harbor Hawks playing at regular depth. Brewster Whitecaps tonight wearing their Friday night red jerseys, honoring the military. Everyone, though, wearing the camo hats for the Cape Cod Baseball League, but the road team always wears their jerseys. Very much of the red, white, and blue. Sure, here in Brewster this evening.
About as American as it gets right now.
1-1 even pitch. That off-speed pitch is called for a strike. Wolf didn't like that one. Has a good glance at the home plate umpire, kind of laughing at himself. Gives himself just a little break. Pedro Pages is sitting there waiting for him to get back in the batter's box.
Yeah, Kyle Facteau has really had to defend himself a good deal today. The home plate umpire has been getting it from the Harbor Hawks bench. Gets a little jab right there from Wolf. But everyone keeping it civil for the most part here at White House Field, or at Stony Brook Field, excuse me.
The 1-2 pitch. That is sent out to left field, but caught by Matthew Barefoot for the third out. After 4 innings, the score is 2-1 Brewster. The Harbor Hawks will be up in the top of the 5th. We will be right back here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright. You're listening to the Cape Cod Baseball League on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Let's get you back to the game.
Brady Lindsley to lead things off in the top of the 5th inning, 2-1 Brewster. If you are joining us here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network, Lagenfelter still on the mound for the Whitecaps. Lindsley 1 for 1 on the day. And the first pitch of the top of the 5th is inside low for a ball in the dirt. Good stop, though, by Monterano. No one on base, though, so he doesn't have to worry about anyone advancing.
That's been the MO for most of the day, Rob. It's been a pitcher's duel.
1-0 pitch. That is outside for a ball. Count at 2-0. Brady Lindsley trying to get on for the second time today. After him will be the top of the order with Davis Wenzel. Coach Polk going over to talk to Davis Wenzel. Wenzel growing out a bigger beard as the season continues to go on, as he's trimmed it throughout the year, and he says he's just going to let it go.
It's kind of become a trademark of his at this point. He's a very recognizable figure in the Cape League because he's the only one that's walking around rocking the Turner, as we call it.
3-0 pitch. That is ball 4 and a leadoff walk. Now the top of the order is up with Davis Wenzel.
Like they always say, Rob, it all starts with a leadoff walk. So Hyannis getting lucky there with the free pass to Brady Lindsley, and now Davis Wenzel can try and get at a Lingenfelter who has just been outstanding in each of his previous 2 starts.
Davis Wenzel is up. He is 0 for 2 on the day, trying to get on for the first time today. Over at first, Lindsley taking a small lead. First pitch is inside for a ball. Wenzel had to turn his body so he didn't get hit. Both teams have 4 hits, but the Whitecaps have the edge in 2-1. The infield for the Whitecaps playing at double play depth. Only a couple people out in the center field where they have a little hill. And now call time is now Langenfelter and Monterano will meet out on the mound. Count is at 2-0. Here the sun's starting to go down in Brewster.
Yeah, and the fact that there's no lights always makes things interesting out here at Stony Brook Field, because you have to play a quick game to fit it in. And the Whitecaps have 3 ties on the season, so there have been more than a couple of times where the light has gotten the better of them.
The light has gotten the Harbor Hawks once, as that was in Yarmouth Dennis. The 2-0 pitch. That is called a strike. Count at 2-1. On the on-deck circle is Braden Como. The 2-1 pitch. That is a ground ball to the shortstop. He has it, throws it on to second, throws it on to first. The Harbor Hawks quickly retired 2 guys, 2 outs. And a big play there for the Whitecaps.
Yeah, pitch number 70 for Langenfelter going exactly as he was hoping for. Pitch count is starting to get up there. So you get the quick 2 killer for Wenzel. You take Lindsley off the base paths, and you just lighten your load as Langenfelter was able to go 5 hitless innings in his previous start and stretch this one into 5 as well.
Braden Como now up 0 for 2 as well on the day. And the pitch. That is grounded foul right into the Harbor Hawks bench.
I mean, usually around pitch counts of 70, 75 pitches will get guys out of games, but Langenfelter is going to build a good bit of confidence for himself if he can get through 2 5-inning starts consecutively.
There is action going on, though, in the Whitecaps bullpen. The 0-1 pitch is high for a ball, count even at 1-1.
Can't really blame him. A precarious spot in this game with the 2-1 lead intact.
The 1-1 pitch. That is inside for a ball. Almost hits Braden Como. Had to back out. Count at 2-1. Nobody on base with 2 outs. 2-1 Brewster.
And even more so when you consider the playoff implications on this game for the Whitecaps.
Sure does. They basically have to win out, really, if they just want to make the playoffs, because they can't afford to lose and then get down. That is a ball down the line, and that will be fair. Braden Como out at second base. That will go in, and that will be a ground rule double. Braden Como with a big hit down the third base line, unable to stop it. Was Workman, and a 2-out double. Now with Matthew Barefoot now up, can tie this game with a base hit.
And now that's the 3rd ground rule double we had seen out here at Stony Brook Field. That left field line really just full of little nooks and crannies where the ball can get stuck.
Time now will be called as the pitching coach for the Whitecaps going to go out and talk to the pitcher.
I mean, it's a massive spot for the Whitecaps. You're keeping your eye on the Firebirds while also keeping your eye on the scoreboard here. They need a win, and if they can't eke one out, they're not helping their cause, as they're about as close as they can be right now. A win will tie them with the Orleans Firebirds, who have 27 points on the Cape League season so far. Brewster only a smidge behind them at 25. And Orleans gets started at Eldridge Park at 7 p.m. tonight against the Cavaliers. That'll be a tough interdivisional matchup for them.
The mound visit is broken up by the home plate umpire. Now everyone will go back to their respective positions. Matthew Barefoot, responsible for the only strikeout today for Langenfelter. That happened in the top of the 3rd inning, trying to redeem himself with a man over at scoring position. Harbor Hawks now have the edge of 5 hits to Brewster's 4, but only have 1 run to show it. Como taking a big lead off of second base. No one covering them, though. And the pitch. That is in the dirt. Outside. Count at 1-0. Harbor Hawks trying to draw this game to be a tied game. Is no better person to be up in this spot than Matthew Barefoot. The 1-0 pitch. That is called a strike. Outside part of the plate. Counts even at 1-1. Matthew Barefoot bending his knees there. Didn't expect that pitch.
I mean, Lingenfelter's breaking ball is really deceptive considering how his motion will distract hitters a good deal as well.
Counts at 1-1. And the 1-1 pitch. That is sent out to center field and will not be able to get down. Bishop on to catch it. The Harbor Hawks squandering an opportunity here in the top of the fifth. It is still 2-1. That will be done for my play-by-play duties as Chris Lucey will take over in the bottom of the fifth. We'll be right back here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright.
You're listening to the Hyannis Harbor Hawks on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Now back to today's voices of the Hawks, Rob Marcello and Chris Lucey.
Back at it here for the bottom of the fifth inning on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Top of the order due up for the Whitecaps in Ray Alejo, Dominic Canzone, and Hunter Bishop trying to build on a 2-1 edge over Hyannis. And the same man still on the mound for the Harbor Hawks. Coming out for inning number 5 is Nick McDonald. Alongside Robert Marcello, I'm Chris Lucey. Thank you so much for joining us here. Alejo's 0 for 2. The first pitch called a strike over the outer half. Nice little breaking ball from McDonald. 0-1 the count on Ray. Struck out in his last plate appearance. Second strikeout for McDonald. The 0-1 pitch. Another ball low and away. That one in the dirt. Count now 1-1.
Nick McDonald in a big spot in the fifth inning, trying to keep this at 2-1.
The 1-1 pitch. Called a ball high and outside. Count now 2-1. It's a crucial game for the Harbor Hawks as Hyannis is trying to make its way towards the playoffs. Magic number looking right now like either 2 wins or a Hawks win tonight or a Braves loss. The 2-1. Cut on and popped up foul. Pedro Pages moving his way towards the backstop, but that ball lands out of play behind us here on the right side of the backstop. 2-2 now the count. The infield is pretty much at normal depth, albeit Seth Gray, the third baseman, is creeping its way towards the infield grass. Outfielders playing very far back in a cavernous outfield here in Brewster. Forced 375 out to left center field and even farther out to center field. No exact marking, though. The 2-2. Hacked on and missed for strike 3. Ray Alejo goes down swinging for the second time of this game. He's not only the second strikeout victim of the game, but he's also the third strikeout victim of the game here in the bottom of the fifth inning. 3 Ks on the game for McDonald, who's outside of a tough third inning, Rob, where he gave up those 2 runs, has cruised for the most part.
He sure has a very good pitch there from McDonald, being able to get the strike out.
Now here's Dom Canzone. The pitch cut on and popped up high in the air out towards left center field. Barefoot and Jew tracking towards it, but the left fielder Barefoot makes the catch. And there's now 2 away in the bottom of the 5th.
One thing I like about McDonald is he's working very quickly getting the ball, steps off, calms himself, and continues to throw throughout many different arm angles, really confusing people.
That's true. He has that 3/4 arm slot that he uses normally, but then he can also come from a sidewinding position as well. And that sidewinding ball has a good bit of run to it. So very deceptive. Hunter Bishop now up. 2 men down, nobody on here. 2 on the score. Brewster out front. Bishop squares bunt, sucks it back, and takes ball 1 low and away. Hunter to the left side of the plate right now. The righty McDonald trying to retire him for the 3rd out here at the bottom of the 5th. The 1-0. Called a ball. Fastball. High and outside. 2-0 now the count. It's a 2-1 lead for the Whitecaps as they try and keep themselves, on the other hand, alive in the Eastern Division playoff race. The 2-0. Called a strike inside. Another fastball for McDonald darting over the black inside around Bishop's knees. Hunter coming in at 6'4". So plenty of strike zone to work with right there for McDonald as he sets and fires the 2-1 pitch. Cut on and nicked off of Pedro Pages. The catcher just shakes it off, gets a new baseball, and the count advances to 2 balls and 2 strikes. Hunter Bishop is 1 for 1 today. Walked and had a single. 2-2 now the count on him. McDonald looking to retire him for the first time today. The pitch, called a ball high and outside, and the count runs full. 3 balls and 2 strikes to a hitter in Bishop who has turned his season around over the last couple of days. Since July 12th, he's raised his batting average almost 50 points. It's under the Mendoza line for most of the season. Started this game about 245. The pitch, cut on and a high pop-up on the left side. It's chasing Barefoot out towards foul territory, but the left fielder loses the cap and makes the catch on the run. That hat flying off Matt Barefoot's head, and the side is retired for the Harbor Hawks. The Brewster Whitecaps go down 1-2-3 in the bottom of the 5th and bring the Harbor Hawks up in the top of the 6th, trying to chop away at a 2-1 deficit. Seth Gray, Pedro Pages, and Todd Lott due up for the Hawks. When we get back on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network, don't go anywhere.
Magic Works Media Company. Magic Works Media Company. Magic Works Media Company. You're listening to the Cape Cod Baseball League on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Let's get you back to the game.
After 5 solid innings from Zach Lingenfelter, Jamie Shevchik pulls the plug and brings in Braden Weyer out of the University of Seattle. Didn't get much time out there and has only pitched in one game for the Whitecaps, so we'll see how he faces up against Seth Gray here. The first pitch. Ball one, high and tight to the lefty at the mound from the right to the left to the lefty at the plate from the righty on the mound. Comes in at 6'1". The pitch. 6'11", excuse me. A called strike over the outer half of the plate. On the next one, count now 1-1. Alongside Robert Marcello, I'm Chris Lucey. Thank you so much for joining us here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Your Hawks are down 2-1 out here at Stony Brook Field in Brewster. The pitch. Bouncer gets away from Seth Gray. And the count now 2-1.
It's very important for Seth Gray to be able to get on here. Just a leadoff guy to get going. You saw last inning, the Harbor Hawks almost scored.
Absolutely, and they need runs right now. It's been a pitcher's duel. And they've been able to crack their way through Zach Lingenfelter now, the 2-1. Cut on and slow chopper over to the second baseman, and it bounces off of Baker's glove into right field, so that will likely be a knock for Seth Gray. Would be surprised if they rule that an error. We'll wait on the official score, who actually rules an error, so Seth Gray reaching on an E4, but reaching nonetheless. Runner on first base, Pedro Pages is in the 5 spot, due up right now. Todd Lott waiting in the 6 spot behind him. 2-1 score once again here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Seth Gray with a good piece over to second base. Surprising there that they called that an error.
Certainly. I mean, a very tough play for Baker to make considering the sunlight. And is also was a one-hopper on the back of the infield-outfield grass. Now Seth Gray takes a slight lead off of first. The first pitch to Pages. Called a strike over the outer half of the plate. Count 0-1 on Pedro. And getting back to Weyer. 1-1 record in 8 games for Seattle this year, 7.71 ERA, and he hasn't really gotten much time to show his stuff out here on the Cape. He's only pitched 1 inning. Hasn't allowed any earned runs, though, and struck out a man as well, as the 0-1 is cut on and popped up behind home plate, and it gets way out of play before anyone has anything to say about it. Barterano, the catcher, making his way towards the chain link fence at the end of the backstop, but just has to watch it sail away. It's an interesting backstop here at Stony Brook Field. Not all that far back from home plate, but it's a chain link fence with stone dust, in front of it. Weyer to the set, and the 0-2 pitch. Cut on and a high pop-up over towards right center field. Bishop charging in, and the center fielder makes the grab, and there's one away here in the top of the 6th. And I mentioned that it's an interesting backstop because while the chain link fence will definitely deaden the baseball, the stone dust has some very lively true hops. So anything that gets there will skip around and then possibly be deadened by the fence. So you really don't know what you're going to get on a pass ball.
That's very true. And any catcher really just has to scope around the field when they first get there. Just see what the kind of the bounces are.
Todd Lott at the right side of the plate now. Pedro Pages goes down to 0 for 3 on the day with that fly out. Todd's 0 for 2. The first pitch. Cut on and grounder over towards third base. Gobbled up by Workman. He goes to second to get the easy out. And the ball gets away from the first baseman in Franklin as Todd Lott makes his way down the first base line. And they can't get the double play. So Todd Lott reaching on a fielder's choice. And now there's 2 away.
Even think if he dropped the ball there, I think Todd Lott would have been safe over at first with his speed. Very underrated on this team is. He's pretty quick for a guy that is almost 240.
Absolutely. And he comes in at 6'4" as well, so hard for him to get all those moving parts moving down the line. But Todd Lott has just really shown himself to the scouts this season and given himself a good reputation. Now Tommy Jew up to the plate. He's at the right side. Man on first and 2 away. The pitch. Called a strike over the outer half. Nice little off-speed offering from Weyer. 0-1 the count. Tommy is 1 for 1, scored a run on a single in the second, and also was hit by a pitch. Todd Lott with a 2-step lead off of first base. Infield at double play depth. Outfield creeping in slowly. The 0-1 breaking ball. Somewhat of a pitch out right there, but the catcher and Martiranos jumping right up, and Todd Lott staying put, not even taking a lead off of first base right now.
I think Martirano missed the pitch. I think he thought something was coming and then had to quickly get back down.
1-1 the count. Tommy Jew at the right side of the plate. We'll see if they're in sync here. The pitch is cut on and clobbered out towards left center field, Canzone, and Bishop going back, looking up at the wall. Bishop watches the ball sail out of the yard. That is a 2-run home run for Tommy Jew. And the Harbor Hawks are back out front. 2 men down in the top of the 6th inning. And the Harbor Hawks are out front 3-2.
Great piece there by Tommy Jew, being able to hit it out to left center field, just getting it over the wall. Now the Harbor Hawks are back in the lead.
And that is Tommy Jew's 2nd home run of the season. And it looked like Hunter Bishop was able to get a piece of his glove on the baseball for just a moment, but he was on the run. It was a tough play to make, tracking back towards the wall, and might have just skipped off his glove and got out as Trevor hovers at the left side of the plate and takes a strike. Game completely flipped over on its head now for the Whitecaps. Came into this inning leading 2-1. Now trail 3-2 on one swing of the bat by Tommy Jew. Wayer to the set, the 0-1 pitch. Ball 2. High in sight around eye level on the breaking pitch. Hauber having a nice day, an RBI single. He's 1 for 2. Infield, outfield now playing back on Hauber. The 1-1 pitch. High and outside around his eyes again for ball 2. Trevor has plenty of friends playing in this league, and a couple of them are actually playing on this team against him right now. Gage Workman and Hunter Bishop are 2 of Trevor's best friends where they play their college ball in Tempe. The 2-1. Cut on and nicked foul behind home. Count evens 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Definitely when you develop a relationship with guys in college and you have to face them, it's definitely a different look for all 3 of those guys embracing each other before the game.
Oh, absolutely. Definitely a good bit of fun for them to see each other wearing different uniforms. The 2-2. Called a ball. Breaking pitch floating outside and way off the plate. Count now 3-2. It was never an easy one here for Wayer. Had an error to start the inning off and then just let up a big blast to Tommy Jew. The 3-2 pitch. Cut on and nicked foul. Count remains 3 balls, 2 strikes. 3-2 the score. Hyannis out front right now. Trevor Hauber just fighting in the 2-strike count here. Outfielders playing back on him, but way off the lines. Now the 3-2 pitch. Cut on and another one nicked foul. Count remains 3 balls and 2 strikes on Trevor Hauber. Wayer throwing 15 pitches in this inning. Been able to get most of his outs by contact, but contact has also been his kryptonite. 2-run homer from Tommy Jew cost the Whitecaps the lead. The 3-2 pitch. Called a strike 3. Trevor Hauber swings his bat off his thigh in disgust as he walks back over to the Harbor Hawks bench. And after one swing of the bat from Tommy Jew, the damage has been done for the Harbor Hawks. They jump back out front 3-2 on a 2-out, 2-run round tripper from the center fielder out of UCSB. That was the only hit of the inning. 2 runs come in to score. 1 error and nobody left on base as now we head to the bottom of the 6th inning. Jesse Franklin, Gage Workman, and Darren Baker will come up for the Whitecaps, trying to take the lead back here from Stony Brook Field in Brewster. You're listening to the Hyannis Harbor Hawks on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Do not go anywhere. More baseball after a quick break.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright.
Back at it on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network alongside Robert Marcello. I'm Chris Lucey. Inning number 6 now for Nick McDonald. The first pitch. Called a strike high and outside. Count 0-1. Brandon Martirano, the catcher, leading things off here. 4, 5, and 6 hitters due up. And the 0-1. Called a ball low and inside. Count now 1-1. Jesse Franklin engaged Workman to follow him up. 3-2 the score. Harbor Hawks out front after a 2-run bomb from Tommy Jew in the previous inning. 1-1 the count and the pitch. Called a ball low and away. Plenty of sunlight left here over the field in Brewster. No lights over this field, though. So important that Hyannis is able to jump out to a lead after 5 innings. The 2-1. Cut on and nicked off of Martirano's back foot. Martirano, excuse me. Count now 2-2. Brandon is 1 for 1 today. Walked and had a double. Plays his college ball at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. And now McDonald to the set again. The 2-2. High and tight for ball 3. Pedro Pages lets the ball get away from him, but nobody on base. We just got started here in the bottom of the 6th inning. McDonald probably on, Rob, just because Coach Gaspin wants to get him in line for the win.
Very true, and also it's the last time he's going to pitch, so definitely use him.
And his season on a high note. The 3-2. Cut on and lined up the middle and through for a base hit. That one gets to Tommy Jew on a couple hops. The center fielder relays the ball into the infield, and Martirano has a leadoff hit here in the bottom of the 6th.
One of the Wolverines, first baseman.
Jesse Franklin coming to the plate now. He had a 2 RBI double in the bottom of the 3rd inning, so he's 1 for 2. Comes up with another runner on base. And this game getting a little bit interesting for Nick McDonald right now. He's thrown 89 pitches on the game, 54 of them for strikes. But you have to watch out before the Panther out of Florida International gets a little bit tired, and that 3-2 lead might come into jeopardy. Snap throw back over to first. McDonald keeping the runner honest, and Martirano gets in underneath the tag, has the ball back. Righty-lefty matchup, and the first pitch. Cut on and nicked into Pedro Pages' glove for a strike. Kyle Fecteau, the home plate umpire, making the call. 0-1 the count. Davis Wenzel and Braden Como, the middle infielders, shaded toward the second base bag, looking for the double play ball. The 0-1. Cut on and serve behind home. Count now goes to 0-2. Franklin was 2018 Big Ten all-freshman team worthy this year. Had a great season for the Wolverines, batted .327. The draft pick out of high school, too, going into his sophomore year. Now the 0-2. High and outside. Count now 1-2. Franklin, a 37th round pick by the Mariners back in 2017. Comes from Seattle, so local kid. Hard to pass up the hometown ball club, especially when you have so much notoriety in the state of Washington, where he was the 2017 Gatorade Player of the Year. McDonald now to the set. Runner on first. Snap throw back over to first. Martirano jumps back in safely. Count still 1-2. 3-2 the score here from Stony Brook Field. Whitecaps trailing the Harbor Hawks after a big 2-out, 2-run bomb from Tommy Jew in the previous inning. McDonald to the set. And the 1-2. Cut on and another liner up the middle. That one going more towards right center field. Tommy Jew fields it on 2 hops, relays the ball in quickly. A laser down to second base, keeping Martirano only over at second. That's a single for Jesse Franklin, who stops around first. And now Nick McDonald is getting himself into dangerous territory for the Harbor Hawks, Rob.
He sure is, and a great job by Tommy Jew being able to get that ball. And as Martirano over at second thought about going to third.
Oh, absolutely. A great backhand stab out there by Tommy Jew, reliving his days as a middle infielder, the converted shortstop, making it look easy out in center field. He's just so athletic, was able to get to that ball in the gap and just laser it on into Davis Wenzel, holding up the runner. And now out to the plate, Gage Workman. He's the left side against the righty McDonald. 3-2 your score. with a runner in scoring position for the Whitecaps. The pitch? Called a ball low and away. Count 1-0.
What you were mentioning about Jew is something very similar to a Red Sox player, Mookie Betts. He was also a second baseman, and they converted him to the outfield. So maybe you just don't know.
I mean, it helped Tommy Jew break into a loaded Gauchos squad earlier this year who had plenty of infielders, but needed an extra hand in the outfield. The 1-0. Called a strike, high and tight. Count now 1-1. All the talent they have down at UCSB didn't really show in their record this year. They finished under 500, but Tommy Jew able to make a name for himself for the Gauchos and find his way out to Cape Cod, where he has just been lights out in center field for Hyannis.
Sure has, and definitely got more playing time at the college level.
1-1 the count on Workman. Nick McDonald coming to the set, trying to find his way out of a hairy inning. The pitch cut on and a grounder right over to Brady Lindsley, who backhands on a line, actually, and then throws over to second to get the 3-4 double play. And on one swing of the bat by Gage Workman, there's two away quickly in the bottom of the sixth. That's a 3-U put out for Workman there, and then call that 3-4 the put out to get Franklin for the second out over, or excuse me, Martirano over at second base. That 3-4 put out there. Two away in the bottom of the sixth. And now Chad Gassman out to the mound for a word with McDonald. They point out to the bullpen, and it looks like someone might be coming in to relieve the Panther out of Florida International University. If this is Nick McDonald's farewell to the Harbor Hawks, he goes out with a bang, and it looks like it is. Wave goodbye to Nick McDonald, ladies and gentlemen. A great season for the Harbor Hawks. And now in comes a new arm for Hyannis to try and see the Harbor Hawks through what was once a bit of a sticky situation. The double play from Brady Lindsley helping clear things up a good deal, though. Runners on first and second became just runners on first with 2 outs. And now we go to the bullpen. We'll be back after a quick break for numbers on the new guy when we return on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright. Back to Chad Gassman making all the right moves on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Nick McDonald's day is done here in Brewster, and in his stead comes Parker Towns. 5 2/3 for the righty out of Florida International. Gives way to the righty from Dallas Baptist, facing off against the Brewster Whitecaps, who throws a ball high and tight for his first pitch to Darren Baker, second baseman out of Cal. 0 for 2 today. 3-2 again, your score. Nick McDonald jumping in line for the win with those last 2/3 of an inning in the fifth. The 1-0 pitch. Called a strike just around the waist. 1-1 now the count. 5 hits, 2 runs, both of them earned. Still 1 man on is his responsibility. 3 strikeouts and 2 walks as well for Nick McDonald. Towns in relief of him right now. The 1-1 pitch. cut on and sent in on the hands and out into left field for a base hit. That one is just dribbling its way towards the foul line. Matt Barefoot wrangles it down towards left field, and now they're runners on first and second off of a good little bit of hitting from Darren Baker, getting his first knock of the day. Almost got beat inside, but just got enough on it to lift it out to left field.
He sure did there. Parker Towns on the mound trying to get out of this, still with a 1-run lead.
Hyannis out front 3-2. Brandon Wolf at the plate, 0 for 2. Has a strikeout and 1 out by contact. He's at the right side of the plate against the righty. Runners on first and second. Towns to a low set, looks back the runner at second and deals. Called strike over the outer half, count 0-1. Towns has a 2.89 ERA in 9 1/3 innings pitched on the season. Hitters are batting .289 against him, though, so he'll need to avoid running into any lumber here to maintain a tight lead for the Harbor Hawks. The 0-1. Called a strike low and outside. Nice little breaking ball, and now he's a strike away from doing just that. Runners on first and second. 2 away here. Bottom of the 6th inning. Hyannis with the 3-2 edge, trying to preserve it going into the top of the 7th inning. Wind blowing out here at Stony Brook Field. Parker Towns with the glove curled up towards his left shoulder. Now he comes to the set. The 0-2. Cut on and fisted foul the other way. The righty at the plate in Wolf. Still down 0-2 in the count. Brandon, a big hitter with the Stanford Cardinal this year. Hit 5 doubles for them. .303 batting average, too. Helped Stanford win its first Pac-12 championship since 2004 in his season with the Cardinal. Now the 0-2. Called a ball low and away. So Wolf, no stranger to pressure situations. And he's certainly in one right now. Brewster trying to fight their way back into the playoff picture in the Eastern Division. They're down 1 run with 1 runner in scoring position. The go-ahead run standing just 90 feet away from him at first base. 1-2 the count. 2 down. Bottom of the 6th inning. Towns to the set. The pitch. Check swing. Did he go? They look down the first base line. And Jeff Marcello waves Wolf safe, bringing the count to 2 balls and 2 strikes. Definitely worth a check down that first base line, Rob. And it looked like Wolf just barely was able to hold up.
It appeared so there, and Pedro Page showed his displeasure to the home plate umpire on that one. Thought it was strike 3.
But instead it was ball 2, and now Parker Towns has to come back and try and get another strike. Maintaining a 1-run edge for Hyannis. The 2-2. Bouncer. Pedro Page is able to chest it up. Count goes to 3-2 now. Towns just trying to waste one right there. Still 2 runners on. And Hyannis is hanging on to this lead here from Stony Brook Field. Middle infielders playing back. No one being held on their bases. The 3-2. Both runners go, and the pitch is popped up high and foul down the right field line. It gets out of play in a hurry. And the suspense continues here from Stony Brook Field. 3-2 your score. 3-2 the count. 2 away here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Hyannis was able to jump out front with a 2-run blast from Tommy Jew in the top half of the frame. And now they're looking to maintain that lead going into their half of the 7th inning. Outfielders playing back, trying to avoid any extra base hits. Parker Towns to the set. The 3-2. Runners go. And Wolf fouls it off again. An impressive at-bat right here from Wolf.
A long at-bat here from Wolf, and Parker Towns just trying to bear down, trying to get this 3rd out.
Parker's thrown 11 pitches so far on the day. Came in relief for Nick McDonald, who had an outstanding outing in his farewell to the Harbor Hawks. Was able to bring the Harbor Hawks into this inning with a lead. Get 2/3 of it as well. And now Towns on for the last one. Time called by Jeff Marcello behind home. Cal Ficto behind home. And now he calls time back in. Towns to the set. Runners on first and second. The 3-2 pitch. They both go, and the ball is hit on the ground and past the glove of Davis Wenzel out into left field for a base knock. Coming around to score is Jesse Franklin. Darren Baker stops up over at third base. That is an RBI knock with 2 down for Brandon Wolf. This game is tied once again 3-3 in the bottom of the 6th.
A tough play there for Wenzel to be able to make over at shortstop. Just get above his glove there. Now Parker Towns really has to bear down, trying to keep this at a tie at 3-3.
That is a much-needed RBI knock for Brandon Wolf, and one that the Whitecaps desperately needed as a whole to try and keep themselves in the Eastern Division playoff hunt. Ike Freeman up to the right side of the plate now. Runners on the corners, 2 away. A 3-2 lead gone for Hyannis. Now a 3-3 tie in Brewster. The pitch. Bouncer almost gets away from Pages, but the backstop keeps it in front of him. Ike is 0 for 2 with a pair of flyouts. And you mentioned how important that was for Wolf. Came into this game batting only 190 on the season. That knock going to do a big bit of heavy lifting for his confidence. Trying to bring it out of the doldrums after a tough season out here on the Cape. 1-0 the count. Runners on first and third, and the pitch. Swung on and popped up high and foul. That one getting out of play down the right field line. 1-1 now the count. There's a high leverage situation here for Towns. And of course, giving up that knock is deflating Robert, but he needs to bounce back here.
He sure does, trying to keep this at a tie at 3-3.
Gave up the lead. Now he's not trying to put his Harbor Hawks in a hole. Towns to the set, the 1-1 pitch. Called a strike over the outer half. A nice little breaking ball. Count now 1-2. Runners on first and third. 1-2 the count. 3-3 now the score. Hyannis took the lead back in the previous frame, and they won't leave this inning with it, but they can at least settle for a tie. Parker Towns needs to execute right here. Infielders, outfielders playing back. Brady Lindsley holding on the runner at first. Towns to the set. Righty-righty matchup. And the 1-2 pitch. Runners go. And it's a ball. And the runner at first base is caught in a pickle between first and second. They're looking back at Baker over at third. But no run comes as the runner is tagged at first base in Brandon Wolf. Baker came in to try and score, but the tag applied before Baker hit home plate. So no run. And this game is tied at 3 going into the top of the 7th inning.
Here we go.
We'll be back with the Harbor Hawks half of the 7th in just a moment. Brady Lindsley, Davis Wenzel, and Braden Como due up for Hyannis to try and get themselves back on top. A 3-3 deadlock here from Brewster. But more baseball to come on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Don't go anywhere.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright.
Back here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Thank you for joining me. I'm Chris Lucey. It's a 3-3 tie here from Stony Brook Field. Harbor Hawks came into the 6th inning with an edge, but they leave it with a tie off of a big RBI hit from Brandon Wolf. He was caught stealing to end the inning, though. Brady Lindsley at the left side of the plate to start things off against Weyer. Brandon deals the first pitch. A swing and strike 1 from Lindsley. We're underway here in the top of the 7th. Brady 1 for 1 with a single and a walk. Infielders, outfielders, normal depth. 0-1 the count. And Weyer deals the pitch. Hook and breaking ball for a ball inside and low. 1-1 now the count. Brady coming from a baseball family, a family of catchers at that. His brother Tanner Lindsley, a catching commit to Oral Roberts University. And the 1-1. Cut on and a high pop-up out towards center field. This one's chasing Bishop back to the wall. He waits in front of the track and makes the catch for out number 1. So Brady Lindsley is retired for the first out of the top of the 7th. Davis Wenzel now coming to the plate for Hyannis. He's 0 for 3, grounded into a double play in the 5th inning. Davis Wenzel just kind of letting his hair grow throughout the season. He's kept the beard trimmed, but you wouldn't be able to tell necessarily as it already comes a good couple of inches off of his face. Going for the Justin Turner look, as Harbor Hawks interns and fans have made the comparison more than a couple of times. I mean, Wenzel plays a lot like Justin Turner over at the hot corner, third base. The first pitch from Weyer. Calling a strike over the outer half, count 0-1. Turner, of course, of Dodgers fame, great third baseman for last year's National League champion. The 0-1 pitch. Cut on and popped up high down the right field line. This one is chasing Alejo over towards the wall. He goes into foul territory, but the ball bounces right in front of him. Out of play. Count now 0-2 on Wenzel. Davis is very versatile in the field, though. Not only will he play third for Hyannis, but he'll also line up at short. He's been playing short mainly for the Harbor Hawks ever since Will Holland had to leave the ball club earlier in this season. Weyer to the set. 1 away, 3-3 the score. Top of the 7th inning, 0-2 count on Davis Wenzel. And Weyer steps off the rubber to get a new sign from his catcher. Martirano and him agree to something else, though. And now here comes the 0-2 pitch. Breaking ball for a strike over the outer half. And Davis Wenzel goes down looking. Drop him to 0 for 4 on the game. First strikeout of the game for Weyer. 2 away here in the top of the 7th inning. Now Braden Como trying to avoid a 1-2-3 inning for the Harbor Hawks, who are knotted at 3 with the Whitecaps. Braden extended his hit streak to 4 games today with a double in the 5th inning. 1 for 3 right now. Weyer to the set, and the first pitch. Called a ball low and away, count 1-0. Braden comes into this game a little bit banged up. Had to miss a couple of games earlier this year, but was not one to make the most of his time off, as he just was so upset about being away from the field. The 1-0 pitch. Cut on and a grounder over towards the left side. The shortstop Freeman barehanded, and on the backhand stab, actually, he's unable to make the transition from hand to glove. He drops the ball, and Braden Como reaches first safely. That'll be the 2nd error of the game for the Whitecaps, and he's 6. Advances Braden Como over to first base with 2 away in the top of the 7th inning. Matthew Barefoot coming to the plate now. 1 for 3 on the day, and one of the most feared hitters in Cape Cod. 1 for 3 has already dropped his batting average down a little bit. Only batting .390 now. Came into this game batting .392. The pitch. Called a ball low and away. Righty-righty is the matchup. Braden Como's on first base. 3-3 is your score. Brewster and Hyannis tied from Stony Brook Field. Lights starting to fade. We're here at 7 o'clock. No lights over Stony Brook Field down in Brewster, Massachusetts. Now the 1-0. Called a ball, snap throw back over to first. And the catcher, Martirano, unable to get Braden Como before he dives back in safely. 2-0 the count, 2 away. Matthew Barefoot, as I mentioned, such a hot hitter. Even a 1 for 3 day will throw his average off, which is just incredible to think. The 2-0. Cut off and nicked foul behind home. Count now 2-1. And he's not a stranger to a slim margin for error. He batted .364 for for the Campbell Camels in the Big South Conference this year. So Matt Barefoot just having the season of his life, both at college and in the summer, too. The 2-1. Big breaking ball. Just misses, though. Count now 3-1. The pitch almost actually nicked Matt Barefoot, but came from a big break behind Matt, just off the top of his jersey. 3-1 the count. Runner on first base, 2 away. The pitch. Cut on in a high fly out towards left field as Jason Canzone back to the wall. Looking up, he leaps, and the ball dunks just behind him, going off the base of the wall. Braden Como rounding third base. The throw will come in way behind him. Braden's in standing up. Matt Barefoot is over at second base, and he has put Hyannis back out front with 2 away here in the top of the 7th inning. Chalk that up to 4-3 Hyannis. That run will not be an earned one on Weyer as Braden Como reached on the E6. But Matt Barefoot certainly credited with the RBI there. Bounce him up to 2 for 4 on the game. That ought to help the average just a little bit. Seth Gray coming to the plate now 0 for 3, looking to get some for himself. More clutch 2-out hitting for the Harbor Hawks. Helps Hyannis out to a 4-3 edge. And the next pitch, called a ball from the righty Weyer, facing up against the lefty Seth Gray. Weyer to the set. Looks back the runner at second and Barefoot and deals. Pitch that's cut on and clobbered foul down the right field line. 0-1 the count. Seth in a bit of a skid right now. Only 1 for his last 8 at-bats. Trying to fight his way out of it right now with the runner in scoring position and a 4-3 edge for his ball club here in the top of the 7th. The 1-1. Another big breaking ball for a strike. Count now 0-2 on a curve that looks a lot like an Ephus pitch. It's just so slow and loops just over the outer half of the plate. 1-2 the count. 2 away. The pitch. Cut on and nicked just foul behind home. Seth Gray staying alive. Anything out of the infield will break his slump in a big way. Could possibly get Matthew Barefoot home, who not only swings a hot bat, but is one of the fastest outfielders and base runners in the league. Stole more than 30 bases at Campbell this year. The 1-2. Ball 2, high and tight. Jackknifes Seth Gray out of the box. Off-speed stuff, missing for Weyer there. The Seattle University product just trying to fight his way out of an inning where he's given up the lead for his ball club. The 2-2. Breaking ball, clubbed over and foul down the first base line. Gets off the stone dust border of the field. That stone dust coming all the way from right field down to left field, creating a nice little round backstop behind home plate. 2-2 the count. Seth Gray at the left side of the dish. And Weyer to the set. Here's the pitch. Cut on and grounded up the middle. That one gets over to Baker, who backhands, throws on to first, and gets Seth Gray for out number 3. But it was a big one for the Harbor Hawks. Hyannis takes the lead back on 1 run, 1 hit, 1 error. 1 man left on base is Matt Barefoot, who's stranded over at second. But no harm, no foul for the Harbor Hawks. They jump out front 4-3 here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks digital network. And they leave the Brewster Whitecaps coming from behind once again. Ike Freeman, Ray Alejo, and Dominic Canzone due up for Brewster, trying to fight their way back into this one when we get back here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks digital network.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright.
Back to Chad Gassman making all the right moves on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks digital network.
Second move for Chad Gassman in as many innings. Hello, everybody. I'm Chris Lucey. Hyannis out front 4-3 here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks digital network. Bottom of the seventh inning we go. Parker Towns is out after 2/3 of an inning, and in comes Ryan Pepio. Plays his college baseball at Butler, has a 2-0 record, 5 ERA on the season in 12 games. 18 innings pitched, 29 strikeouts, only 9 walks. And the first pitch he sends is cut on and cranked out towards right field. This one is chasing back barefoot, and the ball is out of the yard for a home run for Ike Freeman. And this thing is tied once again. One pitch and 1 run on the bill of Ryan Pepio. Freeman getting all of that one. And the Harbor Hawks are back in a 4-4 tie. Solo shot right there from Freeman. And the air comes out of the Harbor Hawks balloon once again. Ray Alejo coming back up to the plate right now. He's 0 for 3 with a pair of strikeouts. 4-4 now your score after just 1 pitch from Pepio. Here comes the second offering. A swing and strike from Alejo. Count now 0-1. Couldn't even get you the final line on Towns in his 1/3 of an inning, excuse me. The 0-1 pitch. Called a strike. Count now 0-2. Towns ended up giving up a run, but it was unearned. 3 earned on the tab of Nick McDonald as the 0-2 misses low and away for ball 1. 1-2 now the count. No men down, a 4-4 tie here in the bottom of the 7th inning after a moonshot off the bat of Ike Freeman. The 1-2. Cut on another high pop-up out towards right field. This one will be no trouble for Trevor Hauber. The right fielder gloves it, and there's 1 away here in the bottom of the 7th. Ryan Pepio's heart jumping a mile in his chest at the contact on that one. But no harm, no foul for the Harbor Hawks. Dominic Canzone coming up to the plate now. And Pepio's been dealt adversity at times this season. Was struck by a baseball earlier this year, had to miss a bit of time after. But bounced back quite nicely in his first outing since. As the first pitch is a foul ball off the end of the bat of Canzone. 1 inning pitched, only 1 hit, 1 strikeout in his return to action against the Commodores, and a 9-7 Harbor Hawks win on July the 24th. The 0-1. Called a ball low and away on the check swing from Canzone. Dominic is 1 for 3 today with a double. He came around to score on that double in the 3rd inning. 1 of 4 runs for the Whitecaps. Also 1 of their 9 hits. The 1-1. Called a ball low and away. Count now 2-1 on the fastball from Pepio. Playoff picture starting to come into focus here on Cape. 2 teams have already clinched playoff spots. Both of those teams coming in the Eastern Division. The 2-1. Called a ball high and outside. Count now 3-1. Yarmouth Dennis and Chatham are all good to go for the 2018 Cape League playoffs. They've clinched 1 and 2 respectively over in the Eastern Division. The 3-1 pitch. Cut on and grounded over to second base. Braden Como gobbles it up on the roll, throws on to first, and there's now 2 away. 1 run already across the board here in the bottom of the 7th inning off of a blast, a solo shot on the first pitch of Pepio's evening from Ike Freeman. The shortstop out of UNC had some big shoes to fill this year down in North Carolina, having to replace the player of the year at his position the year before, but did so quite gracefully. And the pitch, called a ball high and tight to Hunter Bishop. Freeman, his predecessor, Logan Warmoth, the 22nd overall pick in the draft that year, the 1-0. Called a ball low and away to Hunter Bishop. Also a .336 hitter. Won that Brooks Wallace Award for the nation's top shortstop, as I mentioned. But still, Ike Freeman, no stranger to coming out from the shadows to making an impact. A late addition to this Brewster Whitecaps ball club. He's done quite nicely for himself. The 2-0 to Bishop. Called a ball low and away. Count now 3-0 to Hunter, who hasn't been any slouch himself over the last couple of games. I mentioned earlier, raised his batting average more than 50 points since July 12th. Has 11 hits, 7 RBIs, and 5 walks over that stretch as the 3-0 is called a strike high in sight. Count now 3-1. And with today's hit for Bishop, count that up to 12 hits since July 12th. 3-1 the count, 4-4 your score. 2 away here in the bottom of the 7th. And ball 4 is actually strike 2 over the inner half of the plate. Looked in on the hands. Hunter Bishop flipped his bat over towards the on-deck circle on his side of the field, thinking nothing of it. But a late call from Kyle Fecteau brings him back to the left-handed batter's box. Lights starting to fade out here in Brewster. No lights over the field. Still a 4-4 tie going into the late innings of this ball game. Pepio sets in, deals the 3-2 pitch. Called a swinging strike 3. And that is your 7th inning. So 1 run on 1 hit. A moonshot home run from Ike Freeman brings this game back into a deadlock from Stony Brook Field in Brewster. We're going now to the top of the 8th inning. Hyannis will bring Pedro Pages, Todd Lott, and Tommy Jew, the 5, 6, and 7 hitters, to the plate to try and fight their way out of this one. You're listening to the Hyannis Harbor Hawks on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. We'll be back in just a moment.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright.
In combination with the Hyannis Harbor Hawks and Ocean Street Studios comes a brand new show bringing you everything Harbor Hawk. This is Birds the Word, a comprehensive new way to engage with your favorite summer ball team. I'm your host, Harrison Myers, and every Thursday until the end of the 2018 Cape League season, we'll bring you everything Harbor Hawk. Interviews with players and coaches, behind-the-scenes tours, and stories you may not have heard about. Make sure you subscribe today so you don't miss any of the action.
Thank you so much, Harrison. Back on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Robert Marcello joining me once again. I'm Chris Lucey. It's all knotted up at 4 going into the top of the 8th inning. Pedro Pages, Todd Lott, and Tommy Jew, 5, 6, and 7 hitters due up for Hyannis, trying to break this 4-4 tie against the new face on the mound in Jeff Criswell. Plays his college ball at Michigan. 3-2 record for them this year, 2.23 ERA as the Wolverine comes to the set against the FAU Owl. Righty-righty matchup and the pitch. Call it a strike, low and away. Count 0-1 on Pedro. He's 0 for 3 today. Criswell coming to a low set, working from the windup, the 0-1. Way high in sight. Pedro Pages jackknifed out of the way. Watch that ball fly by his chin. Count now 1-1.
Scary situation there for Pedro Pages. No hitter ever likes to have up in the chin music there, and Pedro Pages, though, knowing it's not intentional, so he continues his bat.
Criswell with a lot of movement in his windup, so you have to imagine control can be a bit of an issue for him at times. The 1-1. Cut on and sent high and foul down the right field line out of play. Count now 1-2 on Pedro. 4.86 ERA on the season so far for Criswell. 16 2/3 innings pitched. Opposing hitters batting .250 against him. Comes into this game with a 4-4 tie on hand, the 1-2 pitch. Called strike 3 on the outside corner. Home plate umpire Kyle Fecteau rings up Pedro Pages. He's 0 for 4 on the day. And the top of the 8th inning starts off with a looking strikeout for Criswell, his first K of the day.
Tough bid there for Pedro Pages. Just took that outside pitch. Unfortunately, got rung up.
Todd Lott at the plate now, looking for his first hit of the day. He's also 0 for 3, but did reach on a fielder's choice and then score on a 2-run home run from Tommy Jew in the top of the 6th inning. Criswell to the set and the pitch. High and outside, count 1-0. This Brewster Whitecaps ball club going toe-to-toe with the torrid Harbor Hawks offense, one of the best offensive clubs in the Cape. The 1-0 pitch. Called a ball low and away. Count now 2-0. I mean, it's just been a big end to the season for the Whitecaps this year, who have batted .237 as a whole on the summer. But over the last 4 games, they're batting .296. The 2-0. Cut on and a high fly out to right field. This one is tracking the right fielder back to the track in Alejo, who settles underneath it to make the catch. And that is the second out of the inning here in the top of the 8th.
Todd Lott, a good swing out to right field. Unfortunately, doesn't drop as he put a good swing on that ball.
The flag blowing more towards left center field rather than just to dead out. So looks like it might have beat the ball down a little bit. 2 men up, 2 down in the top of the 8th inning. Tommy Jew coming up to the plate. 2 for 2 today with a single and a home run. He scored both times he's come up and gotten hits. Also was hit by a pitch as he swings at the first pitch he sees and sends it into the right center field gap. And a ranging play from Alejo coming from the line makes the grab in the hole. And that is 3 men up and 3 down for the Harbor Hawks here in the top of the 8th. We go to the bottom of the 8th. Brandon Martirano, Jesse Franklin, and Gage Workman, the 4, 5, and 6 hitters due up for the Whitecaps when we get back on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright.
You're listening to the Cape Cod Baseball League on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Let's get you back to the game.
Alongside Robert Marcello, I'm Chris Lucey, back at it with you here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. It's a 4-4 tie here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Ryan Pepio back out for his second inning of work. Deals ball one low and away to start things off. He's coming up against Brandon Martirano, Jesse Franklin, and Gage Workman, 4, 5, and 6 hitters for the Whitecaps. The 1-0 pitch. Cut on and popped up high in the air over towards the right side of the infield. Braden Como, the second baseman, calls everybody off, fights off the wind, and makes the catch for out number 1 in the bottom of the 8th inning. And Robert, definitely a bit of pride on the line here for Pepio after just making a mistake on his first offering of the game in the bottom of the 7th, giving up that game-tying home run to Freeman. He's retired each of the last 4 batters he's faced.
He has, and definitely was pretty upset about it when he walked back to the dugout. He was visibly upset. No yelling or anything of any kind, but he was definitely upset, trying to redeem himself here.
Jesse Franklin at the left side of the dish now. The first pitch. Called a ball high and outside. 1-0 now the count. 4-4 your score. 2 teams on the opposite ends of a playoff race. The 1-0. Cut on and miss for strike 2. That pitch bringing Franklin to a knee. The Michigan product is 2 for 3 today with a single and a double. That double scoring 2 runs in the bottom of the 3rd. Pepio coming to the set and the pitch. Called a ball. Low and inside. That one actually getting off the dirt in front of home plate, almost bouncing off of Franklin. Count now 2-1. Ryan, in many minds, an all-star this year. Has gotten roughed up in a couple of recent appearances, though, to balloon his ERA as the 2-1. Misses inside and is called a delayed strike by Kyle Fecteau. 2-2 the count. That one just in on the hands of the left-handed hitting Franklin. Midwestern matchup here. Franklin from Michigan and Pepio from Butler, the 2-2 in the dirt. Count now 3-2. Outfielders playing pretty far back. Cavernous field here down in Brewster. Infielders playing back as well. Brady Lindsley playing the line, the first baseman up that first base side. 3-2 the count, 1 away. And the pitch. Called ball 4. Take your base, Jesse Franklin. He's reached in 3 of 4 at-bats on the game, and that's a 1-out walk in the bottom of the 8th inning. Still a 4-4 tie, and Gage Workman coming to the plate.
Third baseman, Gage Workman.
The third baseman out of ASU is 0 for 3 today. Playing amongst friends, though, as I've mentioned earlier in this broadcast, Hunter Bishop and also Trevor Hauber for the Harbor Hawks, his fellow Sun Devils. Plenty of Sun Devils to be had on this, as now a pinch runner is coming into the game. Justin Ammons coming out and taking first base for Jesse Franklin. Still Workman at the plate. 1 runner on, 1 man down here in the bottom of the 8th inning. A 4-4 tie. Pepio throws back over to first base. And the count still null and void here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Ammons, 5'10", a junior out of Tennessee. As the first pitch is a ball high and tight to Gage Workman. Only 1 steal on the season out here on Cape for Ammons so far. But might bring a little bit more speed as Jamie Shevchik, the manager for the Whitecaps, is trying to push some buttons and break a 4-4 tie. 1-0 the count, 1 man down here in the bottom of the 8th, and the pitch. Cut on and popped up foul behind home. Workman dives into the count now, 1-2. Again, Workman surrounded by Sun Devils out here on the Cape. Carter Aldretti and Spencer Torkelson, also fellow ASU players that stole the show at the home run derby at the All-Star game this year, coming in first and second, respectively. The 1-1 from Pepio, but first a snap throw over to first. Ammons back in safely once again. And between the guys on the field just here today, Hunter Bishop and Trevor Hauber are about as close as can be. They'll be living together next year with a couple of guys that have come out on the Cape. The 1-1. Hacked on and missed for strike 2. 1-2 the count. Gage Workman, actually one of them. All 4 of the men living together next year in Gage Workman, Trevor Hauber, and Hunter Bishop, as well as Alika Williams, all played out here on the Cape, although Alika had to go home earlier this summer. 1-2 the count on one of the roomies. Runner on first base is Ammons. 1 away here in the bottom of the 8th inning, and Ryan Pepio steps off. Now back to the set comes the Butler Bulldog and the 1-2. Runner goes, and the pitch is fouled off. So a little bit of a hit and run at work. Jamie Shevchik's hand is shown to the Harbor Hawks. A little bit of poker going on out here. 4-4 your score. And it is a tactical game out here in Brewster, especially as the sunlight is starting to fade and there are no lights here at Brewster. Chad Gassman had a word with the umpires about that before this inning started. Snap throw back over to first. Ammons slides in safely. Hyannis already has 2 ties on the season. Brewster working with 3 in their record. A point would be minimally helpful to either ball club, as Hyannis is trying to maintain first place in the Western Division. Snap throw back over to first. And back in safely again, Ammons. We take a look around the scoreboard here in the league. The Wareham Gatemen are up 3-0 on the Commodores, and they would take a lead against Hyannis. They would actually be in a tie against Hyannis if they're able to make the win tonight, as the 1-2 is a bouncer in the dirt. Ammons stays put over at first base. 2-2 now the count. If Wareham wins tonight and jumps up 2 points, and Hyannis is able to get a tie here, they'll just be in a tie for first place. But if Hyannis is able to sneak away with a win, the Harbor Hawks maintain first. Orleans already out to a 1-0 lead in Katuitt as well, which doesn't bode well for the Whitecaps, who are 2 points behind the Firebirds. Trying to get that last playoff spot in the East. The 2-2, runner goes, and the pitch is cut on and crushed out towards center field. It's chasing Jew back to the wall. He gets to the track, makes the catch, and Ammons retreats to first base. There's 2 away in the bottom of the 8th inning.
Nice job there by Tommy Jew. Now the sun's starting to go down here. Oh, it's difficult to be able to see the ball. It goes under and is able to catch it.
Absolutely very tough to see the baseball. And it's not like the surroundings make it any easier. Makes a nice little batter's eye, I suppose. But there is just deep, dark woods surrounding the field here in Brewster. Very high trees, lots of brush. So the baseball standing up nicely from a batter's eye, but not quite if you're trying to keep track of it from the outfield. And the next pitch is a ball low and inside to Darren Baker. He's in the left-handed batter's box against the righty Pepio. 2 away here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Darren out of Cal Berkeley is 1 for 3 today with a single and 2 other outs by contact. Comes from a proud baseball family, Baker does. Snap throw back over to first. Darren's father, Dusty, a longtime manager, spent over 19 years as a player and also a very successful manager at the big league level. The 1-0 pitch. Call it a ball just inside and low. Count now 2-0 on the fastball from Pepio.
Hopefully his son is as talented as he was as a coach.
Well, it would definitely suit the Whitecaps well, as they're looking for anything to break this 4-4 tie here at White House at Stony Brook Field, as the 2-2 is cut on and served high and foul down the right field line and out of play. Count advances to 2 balls and a strike. Darren, a late addition to this ball club, but was drafted by the Washington Nationals in the 27th round in 2017. So plenty of pro projectability there as the 2-1 is a ball in the dirt. Runner goes, throw down to second, not in time. And that's a stolen base right there for Justin Ammons, his second of the season. And now there's a runner in scoring position, and this at-bat changes just a little bit for Darren Baker. 3-1 is the count now. And time called by Pedro Pages, who wants to have a word with Ryan Pepio. After a leadoff home run in the bottom of the 7th, it was 4 straight batters retired for Pepio in this game. But the walk and then the steal from Justin Ammons makes this an interesting contest. 2-way in the bottom of the 8th. And there's a runner in scoring position and a 3-1 hitters count on the second baseman out of Cal. Ammons with a 2-step lead off a second, being held on by Wenzel. The 3-1 is called ball 4. It was a pitch out. Pedro Pages jumping up from behind home plate and taking the ball way high and outside to try and bring this game back into the hands of Brandon Wolf. Intentional walk to Baker. Time now called, and Chad Gassman coming out onto the field, possibly to take the ball away from Ryan Pepio. Ryan's pitched an inning and 2/3, and that will be all she wrote for the righty out of Butler. A new pitcher coming into this game in just a quick second on the Hyannis Harborhawks digital network, but the Harborhawks are in troubled waters right now. Runners on second and first base, a 4-4 tie hanging in the balance. We'll have more on the new arm in just a few moments. Keep it here.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright.
Back to Chad Gassman making all the right moves on the Hyannis Harborhawks digital network.
Eighth inning still underway here on the Hyannis Harborhawks digital network, but 3 innings go by and 3 different pitchers come in for Hyannis. Parker Towns is the first to relieve Nick McDonald. Ryan Pepio came after him, and now it all comes down to Dylan Thomas. 2 away here in the bottom of the 8th. Runners on first and second base, and a new pinch hitter coming into this game as well. Brandon Wolf was due up, and Chris Wright is coming in to pinch hit. Getting a little lefty-righty matchup here. Wright likely coming in will be in the DH spot for Brandon Wolf, who finishes his day at 1 for 3 with a single, an RBI single at that. 1 of 4 runs for the Whitecaps, who are knotted at 4 runs apiece with Hyannis. Lefty at the plate, righty on the mound. Dylan Thomas playing his college ball at the University of Hawaii. Cape League leader in saves. The pitch. Breaking ball for a strike over the outer half. And the count is 0-1.
A big spot here for Dylan Thomas coming out of the bullpen, trying to get this final out, trying to keep it at 4-4.
He's no stranger to big spots. He's been the bona fide closer for this Harbor Hawks team almost since day one of the season. The 0-1 pitch. Cut on and worm burner foul down the right field line. Count now 0-2. Dylan with a 1.39 ERA on the season. Again, 8 saves to lead the Harbor Hawks. It's pitched in 14 games for Hyannis. 19 and a third innings pitched. Gets out of this one here. It'll be 19 and 2/3. He has an 0-2 count. 2 men on base. 4-4 tie. Hanging in the balance for the Harbor Hawks. They have their best man on the case. Thomas to the set. Looks back the runner at second. The 0-2 pitch. Bouncer in the dirt. Pages keeps it in front of him. 1-2 now the count. Neither runner even thinking about advancing. Florida Atlantic product finally getting himself back in the mix as a catcher. The tale of the summer for him really has just been trying to get back in the regimen and the swing of being a catcher, as he had to spend a lot of time at first and DH for FAU this year. The 1-2 pitch. Cut on and a high pop-up out towards left field. Matthew Barefoot coming in, makes the catch, and the left fielder gloves the final out of the 8th inning, and one that was a tempestuous one for Hyannis. They strand 2 men on, no hits, 2 walks, no runs, no errors. And now the Harbor Hawks go to the top of the 9th inning, sending Trevor Harver, Brady Lindsley, and Davis Wenzel to the plate. More baseball after just a quick second on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Do not go anywhere.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright.
You're listening to the Hyannis Harbor Hawks on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Now back to today's voices of the Hawks, Rob Marcello and Chris Lucey.
Back at it here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. He's Robert Marcello. I'm Chris Lucey. Jeff Criswell back out for another inning for the Whitecaps. This game's still a 4-4 tie. Trevor Harver coming to the plate for Hyannis. He'll be followed up by Brady Lindsley and Davis Wenzel, trying to crack this thing open and possibly help Hyannis escape with a win and a lead intact in the Western Division. Wareham's out front 3-0 in their game right now. The pitch. Called a ball in the dirt. 1-0 the count. Harver having to jump out of the way of that one from Criswell. Now Criswell from the windup deals the 1-0. Called a strike high and tight. Count 1-1. Infield, outfield, pretty much playing normal depth. Albeit now the first baseman has creeped his way back to the outfield grass and is playing up the line. Trevor's 1 for 3 today. The 1-1 pitch. Another one jackknifing him out of the zone. 2-1 the count. Harver having to moonwalk his way away from that one. Outfield playing way back. Again, such a deep field here in Brewster. Makes it so ball players just try to keep the ball in front of them. The 2-1. Cut on and sliced foul. Count now 2-2. Trevor's future roommate, Hunter Bishop, playing out in center field right now for the Whitecaps. Two of them about as close as can be. And they've confided in each other a good deal this summer. The 2-2 pitch. Cut on and a high pop-up foul. This one getting out of play behind home plate. Maturano watches it sail away. Count stays 2-2. Hopper said it was very cathartic to have a lot of teammates out on the Cape. I mean, he's amongst 3 Sun Devils on the field right now. Gage Workman playing over at third base. Again, Hunter over in center. And when Alika Williams was still out here, they would text all the time, just sharing intel about pitchers, talking about their experiences. And especially for a guy like Bishop, who has struggled for most of the season, and Hopper come a long way. The 2-2. Cut on and a grounder foul down the first base line.
It definitely is good as those teammates continue to keep in contact with each other, even throughout the summer. I know it's easier said than done. You know, you play with these guys all year, and then they're in a different uniform in the summertime. But these guys don't take it personally.
Absolutely not. And the 2-2 from Criswell. High and outside for ball 3. Talk about not taking it personally. Hopper actually was able to, talk things out with Bishop when he was struggling. Hopper was able to talk things out with Bishop also when he was still fighting to get everyday playing time. As now Criswell comes to the set and the 3-2 pitch. Cut on and another one. Rocketed foul behind home. Trevor Hopper just missing the fastball there. Count remains 3 balls and 2 strikes. Nobody away here yet in the top of the 9th inning. 4-4 your score. Hyannis trying to get through this one before the light calls it off. Criswell to the set from the windup, the 3-2. Cut on and another one served foul behind home. And the count remains 3-2. It's been a long at bat for Trevor Hopper. Criswell's thrown 7 pitches in just this inning alone. All of them to Hopper. The 3-2 again. Smacked foul out of play. Pitch number 8 continues this at bat. Trevor Hopper refusing to go down.
Hopper with a great at bat, as you said, Chris. Not only taking, but he's also just catching the edge of his bat there, sitting back on pitches.
Anything close to the zone he's offered at, and he's been able to send it either foul or just maybe try to send one into play here. 3-2. Hacked on and missed for strike 3. The ball briefly gets away from the catcher, who throws on to first base. Maturano getting the 2-3 put out on the strikeout from Hopper there. And there's one away here in the top of the 9th.
Hopper fishing at a low breaking ball. Unfortunately, swings and misses. Does hustle down the first base, though.
Hopper now 1 for 4 today. Brady Lindsley coming up to the plate. He's 1 for 2 with a walk. He's at the left side of the dish. Infield, outfield pretty much staying the same as it was before. Middle guys in the infield playing on the outfield grass. First baseman on the outfield grass down the line as well. As the first pitch is the ball low and inside to Lindsley. Criswell coming to the set. And the 1-0. Cut on and nicked foul behind home. Count remains 1 ball and 1 strike. Playoff picture heating up for both of these ball clubs right now. Brewster trying to stay in it, and Hyannis trying to get a good playoff seed going into the postseason. The 1-1. Called a ball low and inside. Count now 2-1. I mean, the Harbor Hawks, for the most part, have been one of the better ball clubs in the Cape all season long. It's not a totally foregone conclusion that they'll make it in. 21-14-2 their record coming into this ball game. Tops in the Western Division. The 2-1 pitch. Called a strike just at knee level over the inner half of the plate. Nice fastball right there from Criswell. Spots up, and the count runs 2 balls and 2 strikes. 4-4 the score. 1 away here in the top of the 9th. Hyannis trying to find some way to break this game open and take away the full 2 points for a win. The 2-2. Bouncer gets off the mask of the catcher in Maturano. Count now 3 balls, 2 strikes.
That snuck up on him real quick. He's all right, though, but he was just laughing with the home plate umpire.
Brady Lindsley, sympathetic, a catcher standing in the left-handed batter's box. Jeff Criswell trying to send him down hungry. From the windup, the 3-2. Cut on and sliced foul down the left field line. Gets way out of play. A couple free baseballs for the fans charging their way over towards the woods down there. Count remains 3 balls, 2 strikes. A good, healthy crowd here in Brewster on hand for a close interdivisional matchup between these two ball clubs. The 3-2 pitch. Cut on, and a moonshot out towards center field. This one's tracking Bishop to the wall, and the center fielder gloves the ball for out number 2 here in the top of the 9th.
Lindley on first glance there looked like that maybe had a chance to get off the wall, but the wind brings it right back down.
Davis Wenzel coming to the plate now. 2 men down here in the top of the 9th inning. 4-4 the score. Hyannis with his last chance to break the tie before Brewster gets a shot at it, or the umpires have to have a good conversation about whether they can continue this game or not. The first pitch from Criswell. Called a ball low and away. 1-0 the count on the breaking pitch.
I think the also thing is think about is obviously Brewster has the bat, but what happens after that?
Absolutely. 1-0 now the count. Criswell from the windup deals the pitch. The pitch that's cut on and sent high and foul behind home. Count 1-1. And Robert, like you were mentioning, the umpires want to give Brewster the opportunity to hit, give everyone an equal chance here. But at the same time, you can't start another inning if it's too dark. The 1-1. Called a ball low and away, count 2-1. So even if maybe after 9, maybe if it's a quick bottom of the 9th, if Hyannis can't get anything going here, they can't start another inning because by the end of it, might get too dark. The problem they ran into in Yarmouth Dennis earlier this year. That game drawing a stalemate as well. The 2-1. Called a ball high and outside, count 3-1. Chad Gassman had a word with the umpires earlier in this inning as he walked up the third base line. Seemed as though they were going to try and give a full go to the 9th inning. 3-1 the count. Criswell to the set and the pitch. Called ball 4 low and away. Davis Wenzel works the walk, brings up Braden Como, and the Harper Hawks are in business. 2 down in the top of the 9th, a 4-4 tie, and Braden Como coming to the plate with a chance to make a little bit of noise.
Harper Hawks out of Rice University, one of the Owls, second baseman, Brandon Como.
Braden has a hit on the day, extending a hit streak to 4 games. Chalk him up at 1 for 4. Reached on an error and also scored one of only 4 runs for the Harper Hawks in the top of the 7th. It was the go-ahead run at the time, but at the bottom of the frame didn't quite go as planned for Hyannis. They gave the lead right back. Criswell to the set and the pitch. Called a ball low and away. Como flashing bunt, but sucking it back.
Interesting decision there by Chad Gassman. At first, he put the bunt side on, and then Como obviously bringing it back because it's a ball, but with Como's speed, could easily get on.
Absolutely. At that point, you have to be a little bit concerned as to whether or not Davis Wenzel could get down to second base before the catcher springs out from behind home and lasers one down there. Infielders are already moving towards the second base bag to try and make the most of a double play opportunity should anything get on the ground. So you have to imagine the catcher gets out from behind home plate. He could just slip one right down there because both infielders will already be moving towards the bag. 1-0 count on Como, though. Davis Wenzel with a slight lead off of first, and the 1-0 is high and outside for ball 2. Fastball missing the spot from the righty out of Michigan. Como taps home plate. 4-4 your score here. 2 away in the top of the 9th. The 2-0 count on the Rice Owl. The Wolverine sets and deals. Called strike. Fastball right over the heart of the plate. The lights are starting to fade here in Brewster, but the intensity coming up a notch. A tie ball game. Runner on first, 2 away. Braden Como trying to snatch one for the Harper Hawks here. Maybe move Davis Wenzel in the scoring position. Criswell taking his time. The 2-1. Ball 3. Inside and low. Outfielders playing back still. Not too much light left over the field here in Brewster. No floodlights over the field, so this game could possibly get called by darkness if no one's able to break the tie. The 3-1. Cut on and fouled off of home plate, but they're going to say it stays fair. A snap throw over to third base by the third baseman Workman, who charged over into infield territory to make the throw, but Braden Como beats it out for an infield hit. And Davis Wenzel goes station to station over to second base, top of the 9th inning. Hyannis has a runner in scoring position, and Matthew Barefoot coming to the plate.
Matthew Barefoot, just the guy you want on this spot. It's come up with big hits all year long. And this late in the season, you got to have a guy like this be able to make a difference.
Matt is 2 for 4 on the day. A single and a double. He's already knocked in a run for the Harbor Hawks. Stands at the right side of the plate against the righty out of Michigan. Wenzel with a big lead off of second. And the first pitch. Hacked on and missed for strike one. Breaking ball completely fooling the Campbell Camel. 0-1 the count on the leading hitter in Cape Cod. Matthew Barefoot swinging a sensational stick for Hyannis this year. Also playing a lights out left and center field. The 0-1. Called a strike over the outer half, and Matthew Barefoot's in an early hole here. 0-2 the count, 2 away. 2 men on scoring position. Deuce is wild down here in Brewster. Harbor Hawks trying to break a tie and take a full 2 points for a win here from Stony Brook Field. Criswell to the set. The 0-2 pitch. Called a ball, and it bounces, getting away from the catcher, and both runners advance. Matarano unable to keep in front of it. It goes off of his face mask and rolls all the way to the backstop. Wenzel now at third, Como at second. And Criswell having to make the slow walk back to the mound after covering home plate. Walk of shame of sorts. Letting one get way away from his catcher. Seems as though a little bit of a cross-up might have occurred there, Rob.
Potentially could have there, and that happened very similar in the past couple of innings where the relief pitchers of the Whitecaps and Matarano have been a little dysfunctional.
Tough time to have that happen. 1-2 the count. Now 2 runners in scoring position for the Cape's hottest hitter. The pitch. Hacked on and missed for strike 3. Jeff Criswell responds with a big hooking breaking ball that fools Matthew Barefoot low and away. And the Harbor Hawks go into the bottom of the 9th inning, trying to keep this thing knotted at 4 and play for at least 1 point. On a hit and a walk, 2 men are stranded, no runs scored, no errors. And we go now to the bottom of the 9th inning. Ike Freeman, Ray Alejo, and Dominic Canzone, the bottom and top of the order for the Whitecaps, due up in just a moment here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright.
You're listening to the Cape Cod Baseball League on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Let's get you back to the game.
Getting dark here in White House at the Whitecaps ballpark out here in Brewster. I keep saying it's White House Field. I don't know what it is. He's Robert Marcello. I'm Chris Lucey, losing my mind out here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. 4-4 your score, a tie going into the 9th inning right now. Bottom and top of the order due up. Ike Freeman, Ray Alejo, and Dominic Canzone against Dylan Thomas. The pitch. Check swing and a strike from the home plate umpire, Kyle Fecteau. 0-1 the count. Freeman 1 for 3 with a big hit. A solo home run that knotted this game at 4. The 0-1. Hacked on and missed for strike 2. Dylan Thomas holding it against him. Robert Marcello still with a big smile on his face. You got something going up there, Rob?
No, it's all good, Chris.
Robert Marcello always scheming on something over there. Never know what's going to happen next on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. The 0-2 pitch. high and outside for ball one. Heck, you might not be able to see listening to the radio broadcast here, but we might be right there with you in just a couple minutes. The 1-2. Hacked on and nicked foul behind home. Count remains 1-2. The light is really dying quickly here in Brewster. No lights over Stony Brook Field, and not a lot of sunlight left to be had either.
That is very true. It's really starting to get starting to really go down.
The 1-2 check swing. Did he go? They look down the first base line, and Jeff Marcello rings him up. Strike three. Ike Freeman goes down swinging to start off the bottom of the ninth inning. Dylan Thomas doing what he does best, just making hitters look foolish out there.
Dylan Thomas trying to work very quickly here.
Ray Alejo coming to the plate now, looking for his first hit of the day. Chalked up at 0 for 4 right now. First pitch. Cut on and a grounder over to Davis Wenzel at short. Backhand stab, throw across the diamond, and they get Alejo for the out. 2 away in the bottom of the ninth inning.
A similar situation happened like that earlier in the game, and Wenzel, I thought, just maybe overthought thinking a little bit. Does a really nice job on his backhand being able to throw it over to first.
Moving over towards the left side as well. 2 away here in the bottom of the ninth. This ninth inning flying by, but be sure to catch post-game coverage with Lyle Goldstein. He'll jump on if this game is able to continue into extras. But it doesn't look like it right now. Canzone at the plate, and he swings at the first pitch he sees, grounds it over to Braden Como, who takes 2 double clutches, throws on to first, and the side retired 1-2-3 here in the bottom of the ninth. Everyone's shaking hands on the field right now, and the game called due to darkness by home plate umpire Kyle Fecteau. And this game from Brewster, game number 38 on the season for Hyannis, ends in a 4-4 tie. Hyannis going up to 21-14-3 on the season, and Brewster falling to 11-24-4. Robert, big implications on this game for both ball clubs, as Brewster's only able to steal 1 point out of this game, with New Orleans Firebirds out front in their game right now, and Hyannis only stealing 1 point as well, jumping up to 45 points on the season, while the Gatemen sitting in second place at 43 points. Excuse me, I thought they had 42 earlier today. It's actually 43. If they're able to take a win right now, they could take first place tomorrow.
They sure could, and tough one here today on, I think it plays for both sides. Unfortunately, Brewster unable to get those 2 points they desperately needed, but at least they get a point.
And the Harbor Hawks coming away with a point as well. Not the game that Harbor Hawk fans were hoping for, but Lyle Goldstein will break it down for you in just a moment here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Stay put.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright.
Welcome into the post-game show here at Stony Brook Field. I'm your host, Lyle Goldstein, and the game ends in a dead heat. 4-4 draw between the Harbor Hawks and the Brewster Whitecaps here at Stony Brook Field. Game called on account of darkness here at Stony Brook Field, one of 3 stadiums across the Cape without lights, along with Lowell Park and Red Wilson Field. But a 4-4 draw between the two ball clubs tonight. Hyannis couldn't pick up any ground and didn't technically get their 4th win of the season against the Whitecaps, but not a loss either, as they'll end the season 3-0-1 against the Brewster Ball Club. Each team gains 1 respective point, so Brewster now with 26 points on the year, Hyannis with 45. Things got started in the 2nd inning for the Harbor Hawks, that coming on an RBI single from Trevor Hauver, the Arizona State right fielder. Plated Tommy Jew after singling and stealing a base. 3 hits in that inning for Hyannis, but the only run they mustered was the Trevor Hauver single. Then we look over to the bottom of the 3rd inning, and that's when the Whitecaps finally struck. A 2 RBI single from Jesse Franklin, the first baseman out of Michigan, gave the Whitecaps a 2-1 lead. It stayed that way till the top of the 6th, both teams putting up some runs in that inning. Hyannis with 2 of their own. That coming on a 2-run shot from Tommy Jew, the UC Santa Barbara outfielder, produced his 2nd home run of the season. Also, both of them being on the road. One at Doran Park and now one here at Stony Brook Field. It was 3-2, but very, very shortly, as in the bottom of the 6th inning, an RBI single from Brandon Wolf, the Stanford designated hitter, knotted things up. Then in the 7th, Hyannis strikes again. In the 7th inning, an RBI double from who else? Matthew Barefoot, plated Braden Como to make it 4-3. Matthew Barefoot, 2-hit night tonight in 5 tries, keeping that streak alive, staying on the streak of reaching base in every ball game he's played in this season. Matthew Barefoot, what a summer for the kid. Average at .392 as we speak, and he just continues to flat out rake the baseball. Bottom of the 7th, the Brewster Whitecaps strike back. It was a back-and-forth ball game all night long, and a solo shot from Ike Freeman off the right-hander and Ryan Pepio from Butler. Knotted things at 4 apiece, and the game would stay that way. Dylan Thomas came in for the Harbor Hawks to throw the final 1 1/3 innings of the game, and doing what he does best. Slam the door, no hits, no runs allowed, along with the strikeout. But on an account of darkness, the game was called a 4-4 draw between the two ball clubs. Nick McDonald made what was likely his last start of the summer for Hyannis this season. 6 hits in 5 2/3 innings, 3 earned runs, 2 walks, and a trio of strikeouts. On the other side, for the starter in Zach Ligenfelter, he went 5 innings with 1 run ball, 5 hits, a walk, and 1 punch out to his name. So a back-and-forth game between these two clubs all night long. Bullpens going back and forth as well. Offenses trading runs. 6th and 7th inning combined for 4 of the 8 runs scored in this ball game, but ultimately nobody could finish out on top, and darkness was the final decision and the naysay in this game. 4-4 Hyannis and Brewster. As we mentioned, Hyannis moves to 45 points, Brewster to 26. We'll quickly take you around the rest of the league. At Red Wilson Field, another draw here in the Cape League today. As Red Wilson, as I mentioned a minute ago, no lights out in Yarmouth Dennis. The Red Sox and Chatham A's tie at 4-4, much like the game here tonight. That one only lasting 8 innings. And YD and Chatham, the 2 top teams in the East Division, gain a point. Chatham now with 41 to their name. YD with 51, leading the Cape by 10 points. Out at Doran Park, the Harwich Mariners and Bourne Braves still squaring things off. Bottom of the 7th inning, that game knotted up at 4-4. Doran Park, fortunately, does have lights, so somebody will finish out that game, unless, of course, it goes the full 12 innings. But Harwich and Bourne both fighting in this final week of the season. Harwich looking to lock up a playoff spot in the Eastern Division. They currently sit with 34 points in the number 3 spot. As for the Bourne Braves, they look to fight their way back to grab the last spot in the West Division. Spillane Field finds the Wareham Gatemen out 3-0 at home against the Falmouth Commodores. If Wareham hangs on and grabs a win, they'll pull into a first-place tie with the Harbor Hawks in the Western Division, as each of them would currently have 45 points. Wareham comes into the day with 33 and looking to shut things down in the final 4 innings. At Eldridge Park, the Orleans Firebirds are up 1-0 on the Catuit Kettleers. Bourne fans have to like to see that. Orleans, with a Brewster tie today, looking to hold their ground and move closer to locking up the 4th spot in the East Division playoffs. And finally, one more time here at Stony Brook Field, a 4-4 draw between the Harbor Hawks and the Whitecaps. Final lines for each team: Hyannis 4 runs, 8 hits, no errors, and 9 left on base. Brewster 4 runs on 9 hits, a pair of errors, and 7 left on. No winning or losing pitchers here tonight with the tie. First pitch time was slated at 5:01 p.m. Game lasting just under 3 hours here on July the 27th. Tomorrow, Hyannis returns home to McKeon Park to take on the Chatham Anglers. Last time Hyannis played the A's, they won by a score of 12-5, highlighted by a 5-for-5 day from Eric Rivera, along with the home run. As for the Whitecaps, they'll be out at Lowell Park tomorrow, taking on another Western Division team in the Catuit Kettleers, as Brewster looks to fight their way back and somehow lock up the number 4 spot in the playoffs. That'll do it here for the post-game show on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. I'm Lyle Goldstein. Thank you so much for tuning into tonight, and catch us tomorrow back at home taking on the Chatham Anglers with the pregame show slated for 5:30 p.m. Talk to you then.